One more song, Brian, before we go.
One more tune.
One more tune. Brian. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday to Brian. How old do you think he is?
We don't like talking about age.
Do you not like?
No, well.
Do you not like talking about age?
Well, I don't mind talking about age, but this thing of talking about people's age is quite personal, right?
Right.
I think it's personal anyway.
What odds?
No, I was raised, you don't talk about women's age, but now it's like a feature on your show.
What?
You know.
Women's age?
Cher's 89, you know.
Right.
Have a bit of manners, would you?
What? You put me in my place, are you? Sure, it's interesting.
Yeah, you're 52, right?
53 February.
Oh, you really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But I don't feel it. I feel fittest ever been.
Oh, you are fit as a fiddle, though.
No, but I'm not. It can be a lot fitter.
Well, you've got good genes, like you definitely.
Well, the jeans are a bit tight at the minute.
Around
the waist,
you got
32 waist.
Shop. Good boy.
They're good.
I have a 32-inch waist as well.
Do you?
I do. You're not 32. You're smaller than that.
No, I am 32.
Right.
Yeah, good strong legs on me.
Yeah.
Do a bit of strength training, you see. You know.
Of course, and it's muscles holding yours up. Means podge.
The trousers.
Podge.
There's other things holding the trousers up there now. It's a belt, you call it. You call it a belt. Don't you be looking at me like that. My, what are you bringing the show down to there now?
It's actually such a ridiculous claim as well.
What? It's the belt? Stop.
Oh, right. All right, 2 belly buttons. We'll chat to you later.
How do you know I have 2 belly buttons? Did you see them? Did you? That day of that. Oh, enough said, right, look.
Okay, it is the 9 till noon show. Just turned 9. Let's get a news update. It's over to Donald Kavanagh.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning. We're continuing our series today of reports and interviews on the 10T road project with a focus on the proposed new Ballyrain to Dry Arch Road, incorporating the much talked about new bridge over the Swilly and 2 new junctions on the dual carriageway, including a significant expansion of the Trimmer junction. You can see maps and pictures on highlandradio.com. However, questions have been asked about the proximity of the new road, which will start at the Creamery roundabout in Letterkenny, to the Polestar roundabout, where there's already significant congestion on a daily basis. Among those concerned is Councillor Liam Blaney, who previously argued the new bridge should be further out the Ramelton Road to allow motorists coming in from that direction avoid Letterkenny completely. He believes a significant opportunity possibly has been missed.
I believe that at the time of the bridge would come to pass, that trying to get into what was known as the Creamery roundabout, to get onto that route to the bridge, I felt would be a task on its own, and I thought that would be better planning to have it further out and have a link road from the mountain top over as well to take all the cars coming from the west of the county. Didn't have to go into Letterkenny.
Donegal County Council's new tourism strategy has been formally launched, with officials saying the document sets out a shared vision for the continued growth of the county as a leading sustainable tourism destination. The strategy seeks to ensure the county's natural landscapes, cultural heritage and communities remain at the heart of tourism development, with sustainability at its core. The strategy is built around 5 key pillars. Gardaí are investigating a major fire in Carrick-on-Shannon in County Leitrim last night. It's understood the blaze broke out in the Townspark area just after 9. 2 boats caught fire, with flames believed to have started on one vessel before spreading to the other. Firefighters had the blaze under control by midnight. No injuries have been reported. The north coast of Derry and Antrim is dying as a result of short-term lets and holiday homes. That's according to East Derry MLA Cara Hunter, who moved a motion in the Assembly calling for action to help local people live and work in their own areas. The motion received cross-party support. Ms Hunter told the Assembly the situation in towns like Port Stewart is now critical.
The lack of housing and the explosion of second home ownership in our constituency, particularly the north coast, is leading to the unravelling of community life and a sense of community as we know it. People from the North Coast in particular, people who have grown up there, people who I know who have been schooled there, people who have roots and connections dating back decades and generations, are increasingly being forced to make life elsewhere when they don't want to.
Fire safety concerns have been uncovered at dozens of accommodation centres for asylum seekers. An internal inspection has highlighted serious risks in several buildings around the country. With more, here's Daniel Pitcher.
More than 50 centres run by the International Protection Accommodation Services have been flagged for fire safety breaches. Inspectors found fire doors propped open, blocked escape routes and overcrowded rooms. In one evacuation drill, it took a half an hour for just 11 people to leave a building, according to the Irish Times, with the Department of Justice saying many of the issues have since been fixed, but campaigners say that the findings highlight long-standing safety and welfare concerns in the asylum system. They're calling for urgent investment to ensure that all accommodation meets basic fire safety standards.
With the forecast dull and damp with outbreaks of rain, heavy at times, the rain gradually clearing northwards early in the afternoon. It'll be drier for the rest of the day with just patches of light rain or drizzle, some mist and fog as well, in top temperatures of 13 to 15 degrees Celsius with light southerly winds. And that's Highland Radio News. We're back with news again at 10 o'clock. In the interim, check all the day's news on highlandradio.com. But for now, from the news team, good morning. 9 till noon. With the forecast dull and damp with outbreaks of rain, heavy at times, the rain gradually clearing northwards early in the afternoon. It'll be drier for the rest of the day with just patches of light rain or drizzle, some mist and fog as well, in top temperatures of 13 to 15 degrees Celsius with light southerly winds. And that's Highland Radio News. We're back with news again at 10 o'clock. In the interim, check all the day's news on highlandradio.com. But for now, from the news team, good morning.
With 3 5G home broadband, you can get reliable, high-speed broadband without the steep price. From just €20 a month for up to 12 months. Sign up now in store or at 3.ie. From €39 a month thereafter, subject to coverage, minimum term, direct debit and annual price increase. 5G subject to location, availability and device. Speeds may vary. See 3.ie.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello and a very good morning. It is 4 minutes past 9 on this Wednesday, the 5th of November 2025. And you're very welcome along to the 9 till Noon Show. And it's Wednesday, the hump of the week. Hope you're well. And we've got so much coming up for you over the next 3 hours. We want you involved in the debates and the conversation. We want you raising your issues, passing on your, bits of good news, your requests. We tend to play requests just after 10 o'clock. We have a wee slot there for it. So anyone celebrating a special event or whatever it might be, get in touch. 086 60 25,000. That's the WhatsApp and the text number. 086 60 25,000. You can send WhatsApp voice notes too if that suits you. If you want to give us a call, Caroline and Shannon taking your calls on 07491 25,000. Feel free to email comments at highlandradio.com or watch the show and comment on the stream. We're on the YouTube app on your mobile devices, your smart TV and that Fire Stick, which might become pretty much useless for anything else other than watching YouTube if some of the reports are correct about streaming services, etc. And we're across Facebook and on the X platform as well. The Finn Valley Voice is out today, and the number of criminal cases coming before the Donegal courts has more than doubled in the post-COVID years, says a circuit court judge. The present Michaelmas sitting at Letterkenny Circuit Court includes a criminal list of some 239 cases. This list has almost doubled in the last couple of years, Judge John Aylmer says. Around 2 years ago, it would have been common for there to be in the region of 100 criminal cases listed at the Circuit Court. There are various things at play. Among the things at play are the spiralling usage of Class A drugs, the successful prosecution of perpetrators of historical sexual abuse, and a rise in general crime, which had dropped during the lockdown period. Similar patterns have been noted across Ireland and Europe in general. Interesting, the judge notes increase in drug usage and also historical sex cases, and of course an increase in criminal cases as well here, and it's reported as criminal cases rocketing in Donegal. On to the Irish Times newspaper this morning, and slow evacuation drills, locked doors, overcrowding, fire doors wedged open and blocked fire exits have been flagged as safety concerns at International Protection Accommodation Services centres, IPAS centres. A review by the Irish Times of all available reports for inspection on IPAS facilities so far this year found fire safety concerns were raised in respect of more than 50 accommodation centres. And of course, we've got plenty here in Donegal. And an inspection of the Sailors' Best Accommodation Centre in County Donegal said a 23-minute or a 25-minute evacuation for 86 people was excessively long. The manager told the Irish Times that after that fire drill in January, procedures were further strengthened, and the next one in March saw more than 120 people evacuated in 6 minutes. So there you go. On to the Irish Daily Mail now, and apparently the housing crisis is going to last for another 20 years. The housing shortage is set to continue for the next 2 decades, and that's only if building targets are met. A new Department of Finance analysis has warned that pent-up demand for housing will not be eliminated until 2045, and that high house prices pose serious challenges in the economy. The department's report states that soaring housing prices have raised the relative cost of living and may be affecting the country's ability to attract and retain a highly skilled workforce, it adds. Changing demographics and household preferences imply a need for smaller units, notably for fewer occupants. And this whole idea that you need a house that's got 3, 4, 5, 6 bedrooms, it's the 1, 2 beds, your 3 beds that are of most demand at the moment, because people aren't having as many children either, if the truth be told. The report also notes that a persistent shortfall in housing in recent years has driven average house prices up by 91% between 2015 and the end of 2024. But what a lot of these reports don't factor in is that there feels to be an inevitable recession, or not even a recession, but a retraction in the economy, not just here in Ireland, but globally. What impact would that have in terms of the population, in terms of, the cost of housing, etc. We've seen what happened during the crash, for an example. A lot of people that were living here left the country for that matter, but also too, house prices fell through the floor. So would that happen again? Pardon my ignorance, I'm not an expert in economics, but would that happen again? So if there is a crash, what happens to the housing market, and does that affect this claim that demand won't be met until 2045? I don't know, but I imagine we've got at least 2 down cycles before 2045. I just read this because you might not buy the newspapers anymore, and you might be interested to know how much it costs to sponsor a show on RTE. So RTE have a new lineup, and RTE is seeking sponsorship of €350,000 for David McCulloch's new mid-morning radio show. As proof of its confidence in the former 6-1 news anchor, it is believed to be the same figure charged for when Claire Byrne anchored the show. Similar to the deal with the previous sponsors, the package is for 6 sponsor-credited stings lasting 10 seconds and airing daily. The deal, which offers 30 stings a week, includes 6 cross-station promos across Radio 1's schedule, such as Live Line under the new host Kieran Cudahy. The sponsorship deal is for 1 year and will start from January. RTE sales team said today with David McCulloch will be the place for sharp and accessible coverage of all the day's main news stories. I contest that that's here, but anyway, I just thought it was interesting. 350 grand to sponsor a national show. You might not have known, and you wonder, well, how do they do that? So I thought it an interesting read for you. In the Star this morning, opposition TDs have accused the Taoiseach of making disgusting and cowardly remarks about migration. Simon Harris said he absolutely stands by comments he made about migration being too high, accusing rivals of attempting to shut down debate. He said the conversation is not limited to international protection and that population growth hits services and housing. Now, you have been having this conversation on this show and amongst yourselves for a very long time. And the government, interesting that they're sort of starting to talk about shutting down conversation when really, for the longest time, any concerns anyone expressed about these matters were shut down and accused of having certain agendas. Social Democrat TD Gary Gannon said the government, and this is a guy that I was just trying to have a regular conversation with me, and he got very combative actually in the conversation, which I thought was weird. But anyway, Social Democrat TD Gary Gannon said the government failed to manage the response to migration and accused it of following a playbook of Reform UK under Nigel Farage or US President Donald Trump. He added, they point to migrants and say they're to blame. The blame lies squarely at the hands of a government who have lost the control. They're trying to reclaim an ability to frame the narrative. It's disgusting. It's cowardly, he said. Mr. Harris also was criticised for not condemning an arson attack on an accommodation centre for asylum seekers in Drogheda, County Louth. So what do you think of Simon Harris's most recent comments? Senator Eileen Flynn is continuing to push for something I'm very much in favour of and would be very, very supportive of this becoming successful. It's reported in The Sun today. The phrase child pornography would be replaced by child sexual abuse material in an amendment to Irish law being presented to the Seanad today. Independent Senator Eileen Flynn says the change would see the Child Trafficking and Pornography Act 1998 become the Child Trafficking and Child Sexual Abuse Material Act. She said, we have seen over the years that language can empower people. This is about that young child that grows up to be an adult and plays their part in society so they can feel valued and that what happened to them is not minimised by the state and the judicial system. So you will see court reporting, and you can't change the language if you're reporting on court proceedings, but child sexual abuse images is what I refer to them on this programme. There are instances where you need to refer to them as child pornography because that's the crime as is stated in the law. So I'd very much welcome, and I think it's long overdue, a change that would see that horrible terminology change to what it actually is. And what do you think about references in courts? This is a story that comes up, I think it's almost like every 6 months, whereby the issue of giving people character references for certain crimes, and they can be the most horrendous of crimes, and also mild crimes, but it pees a lot of people off. But I don't know what the general public think of this. So the family of a man killed by his partner after she forcefully pushed him have renewed their calls for urgent legal reform after revealing his killer was described in court as being of good character. Jason Ryan, 69, from Balbriggan in Dublin, died in hospital the day after his 49-year-old partner, Alasia Hurtova, pushed him to the ground, causing severe head injuries. She was jailed for 2 years and 9 months in July at Dublin's Circuit Criminal Court after pleading guilty to unlawfully killing James. James's daughter, Karen Ryan, said she's campaigning to remove good character references from court proceedings in cases of domestic violence, sexual offences, murder and manslaughter. Karen said the Irish legal system failed her father and countless other victims. So, obviously, the initial reaction is yes, of course. You know, if someone's guilty of these horrendous crimes, you know, why would another person be, you know, giving them a character reference? You've got the references there, the crime is there, right? But maybe, is it a case, though, that if you try and be dispassionate about it, that maybe things are more nuanced and maybe it might show that an action was out of character, or that, generally speaking, the person is of good character? I don't know. What do you think? What is your feelings on character references in court, particularly in the serious cases, the types of serious cases I've just referenced there on the programme?
Newspapers are kindly supplied by Cosgrove Centra, Mountaintop, Letterkenny. Now
The
with
9
new
to
look
Noon Show
Mountaintop
is brought to you
Diner.
by Letterkenny Credit Union. Seasonal loans now available for Christmas. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
TFI Local Link operates evening and weekend services throughout rural Ireland to help you stay connected 7 days a week. We know life doesn't just happen 9 to 5, so if you're commuting, shopping, visiting family, or going out in the evenings or on the weekends, let TFI Local Link take you there. Visit transportforireland.ie.
Celebrate Black November at Yisk with fantastic offers. Right now you can save up to 70% on more than 1,000 items, including indoor furniture, pillows and much more. Yisk.
Scandinavian sleeping and living.
At Hidden Hearing, we believe you should keep hearing it all. Keep dancing. Keep celebrating. Keep laughing. Keep being you. Call 1-800-370-000 or go to hiddenhearing.ie and book a free hearing test today. Hidden Hearing. Your hearing is our expertise.
What does it take to be Ireland's best-selling car brand? Find out at the Toyota Electrified event at Kelly's Toyota. Our hybrid range speaks for itself, and with plug-in hybrids and fully electric cars, you can be as electric as you want to be. There's trade-up boosters of up to €2,500 and great monthly rates. So, don't miss the Toyota Electrified event October 25th to November 8th at Kelly's Toyota, Port Road, Letterkenny and Drumby, Mount Charles. Toyota, built for a better world.
At Super Value, make it a Christmas with a difference. Get signature taste cheese, charcuterie and party food 3 for €10. And with your Real Rewards card, get Andrex Family Soft Toilet Tissue 24-roll pack for only €9. And Robinson's Fruit Shoot Orange or Blackcurrant 8-pack, now €3. Make it a Christmas with a difference at Super Value. DRS applies.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is
17 minutes past 9. We're joined on the programme now by Caroline Lynch, owner of Good as New charity shop in Ballyliffin, and it's off the sad news, Caroline, that you've decided to close despite, you know, raising so much money for charity. Caroline, good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg.
Right, okay. So, Caroline, why did you take this decision? And I'm sure it's a decision you didn't rush into.
Well, I just think down to the location, maybe, and the economic crisis what we're all facing at this minute in time. I don't think it's viable for me to stay open. I mean, I'm in Ballyliffin, which is a very, very small community, and it's just a very quiet area. Just, you know, it's just off the beaten track, and I mean, I can't say I don't get the support because I get plenty of donations coming in from everywhere in the Innishowen area, and all those sort of donations coming in from Letterkenny and Derry. But I just can't seem to make the sales. I have plenty of stuff coming in, loads of good stuff in the shop, but I just can't seem to get the sales in. People coming in just to buy and that. But as I said, I get plenty of support and stuff from the local community. And
you would imagine with the cost of living, you know, that good quality stuff like that you sell in your shop would be more attractive. But I suppose if you don't have the critical mass, if you don't have the footfall, you can have the best shop in the world, but if the people just aren't about, has it changed though, Caroline? Has that always been a struggle, or have you seen a fall off in footfall in recent times?
When I first opened in August 2023, it was. I think it was probably because it was a new thing in the area. Everybody was coming in and they're supporting it, and I have raised some amazing amounts of money for the charities I have done for, But it has gradually, this last year has gradually just dropped off. I mean, I waited from last winter to the summer season to come in, and the summer season was just, I mean, we had some really brilliant weather and stuff, and the summer season to me, for my charity shop, was just, I might as well have been closed for all I did over the summer. It was just, I think people had other things on, people going to the beach, holidays, whatever people do. And I mean, I'm coming up to the Christmas season now, and it's just the same. It's just quiet. I've even had to pull the hours down now. I'm down to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 10 o'clock in the morning till 4 p.m. because I just can't afford to just be sitting on site all the time. I mean, the shop is up at the house. I attach the doorbell, which connects through to the house, so that if anybody comes and the shop's closed, they can just ring the bell. I can run out to the shop, open up, and serve people, because it's not viable to be sitting in there, especially this time of the year with the heating, the price of electricity and heating costs.
Yeah.
Because I have to rely on, just a couple of blow heaters just to keep the place aired, because there's no radiators or anything like that in there. So it's not feasible for me to stay.
No, you have to think. You have to think of your own time as well, because I mean, obviously it's fantastic to raise money for charity, but you have to divide your time into the amount that's being raised and the effort, and wonder is it worthwhile. Yeah. But the shop is open for the next couple of weeks. Wednesday 10 to 4, Thursday 10 to 4, Friday 10 to 4, Saturday 10 to 4. So there's still a big commitment there. What kind of stuff have you in stock at the moment, Caroline?
We have a large selection of women's clothes, children's clothes, men's clothes and shoes. We have loads of handbags, a good selection of very good quality toys, loads of different kinds of bric-a-brac, some electrical stuff, glassware, hardware stuff, all kinds of everything, what I call it,
Yeah, so there's lots and lots of stuff there. So if anyone's looking
there's
to
loads of stuff
refresh their wardrobe, okay, all right.
Yeah.
And there's a big
sign
on.
Loads of stuff with labels. Yeah.
I was going to say there's a big sign, good as new, above the door. So if people go into Ballyliffin, they won't miss it.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's also the sign up at the top of the road too, so that people know you have to go up off the road, to get to the shop. Which shouldn't be a problem because it's well signposted. I have posters all over the area, with posters up in the post office and the shops and stuff with the air code on, which they could also use to find the shop if they can't find it because it's got the air code. It's just not feasible to stay open any longer. It's a sad situation because I opened it because of the area it's in. I thought it would be a great incentive for the area because it's a very quiet area. We've only got 2 shops in Ballyliffin. We've a few shops and a few shops in Clonmany, and mainly bars and restaurants and stuff like that there. I just thought opening a good as new, with selling clothes and shoes and stuff, would be a great support for the people in this area, as it's very, very quiet. And it would save them having to go into the larger towns like Buncrana or Carndonna.
Yeah.
But
plus they can get good quality labels at lower prices too. Yeah. And you've raised a lot of money over the years, haven't you? Talk to me about that and some of the charitable causes that have benefited.
Well, when we first opened in August 23, I started doing the Galway Cancer Bus. So I raised €3,600 for the Galway Cancer Bus. They were very, very delighted with that. And then after that, I'd done the local community centre in Clonmany. They were looking to raise some money for their after-school club. And I raised them €1,200, which went, I think, towards a dishwasher that they wanted to get for the after-school club. After that was the Bumble Buns, which is the Children's Ambulance Services, which is a good cause. which was €2,300. And then the local men's shed in Carndonna, they also got a wee bit of money, which was €520. I've done that for 6 or 7 weeks for them.
Right, and Lochswilly RNLI are the current beneficiaries, is that
and
right?
now we're on the Lochswilly RNLI since start of May, I think.
Okay.
And so far we have, in and around, I haven't really got all the figures in for that, it's around about €1,200 for them so
Brilliant.
far. So yeah, it's running up at nearly €8,800 I've raised in 2.5 years.
All right,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm happy with that.
I'm sure. I think it's a fantastic achievement, and also too, you've kept items in the circular economy as well. But I hope you can change your mind if there's a big rush on. But we'll see. It's the Good as New charity shop in Ballyliffin, as you say, loads of women's clothes, men's clothes, shoes, handbags, bric-a-brac, that kind of stuff. Well worth, I think, going in and having a look around, and toys as well, of course, as you mentioned, Caroline.
And there's also books and CDs and there's loads of stuff, like all kinds of everything,
Okay, well, listen, I mean, it's. I suppose you have to work with the area in and the amount of people that are about, but we'll see. Hopefully, maybe you get a wee rush anyway in the next couple of weeks with the media coverage you've had.
Well, in failing this closure, I'm actually looking for premises, maybe in the Carndonna or the Buncrana area. If I can find a premises, I might relocate in there to see if it's any better. But at this minute in time, I am still looking. So if anybody out there, if you don't mind me if anybody out there has any empty premises that they would be interested in renting towards a charity shop in Buncrana or Carndonna area, would you please contact the page, please, if that's possible?
Okay, thanks, Caroline. Take care of yourself. That's Caroline Lynch, owner of Good as New charity shop in Ballyliffin. She's made the tough decision, having raised close on $9,000 so far for great causes. She's made the tough decision to close at the end of November. Hi, Gregory. Voting. I, like many others, spoiled my vote to send a message to the government to start talking tough on mass immigration. Well, take the win, or we'll take the win. We need to follow the shining light of Denmark now, as they've solved the problem. Hi, Greg. When your show gets hit with a professor from climate change about getting to net zero carbon, ask him, what is net zero? Zero carbon, like 2%, means nothing. Grows. We breathe out carbon. I've heard this one before. What's the carbon in the atmosphere? When war ends, we'll have climate refugees. Don't mention data centres, who use over 20% of electricity in Ireland. Traffic in Letterkenny, it's a problem. I think we've all took us a bit of time to get to work or school or hospital appointments this morning. If you're in and around that area, many of you aren't, of course. This is the second morning that children will be late for school, as the buses are late due to that traffic in Letterkenny. I think Timu's to blame for the likes of the situation we've just discussed. I'm a shop owner and finding more and more people saying they buy on Timu. Trump heavily taxed Timu to protect local and national business. Time to do the same here. Yeah, Timu, Shein, the others. It's not very responsible. People ordering 5 or 6 things, keeping 1 or 2 things, sending others back. It's very cheap, but it has to be manufactured. Off whose back is it being manufactured? And then it has to be sent around the world. And it is, local businesses that are taking the hit. So there are, those fast fashion outlets that are obviously going to be having an effect on clothes shops and what have you, you'd imagine. Okay, we'll be back with more shortly.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
The effects of personal debt problems often go beyond just financial. What we don't want to face can cause us to unravel. Stress eats at you, relationships unwind. It can feel like life's falling apart, but support is available. Get back on track with the Insolvency Service of Ireland, an independent organisation that helps untangle personal debt problems. See backontrack.ie. Supported by the Government of Ireland.
The Irish Times says the hybrid Dacia Bigster might just be Ireland's best car right now. That's a big review. Well, it is a big family car with big space, big tech, a big boot and big hybrid power. Get more for less from just €29,990. Visit your local Dacia dealer to find out more. Dacia. Drive more for less. Price excludes delivery and related charges. T's and C's apply. Offers are limited. See dacia.ie.
I had problems with my knees for about 7-8 years. I think I'd give Kingsbridge 5 stars just because of the support and help that they gave me before and after the surgery. I was a public patient and the HSE reimbursed the cost.
Republic of Ireland residents can get rapid access to cross-border surgeries at Kingsbridge private hospitals in Belfast and Derry, with medical costs reimbursed by the HSE. Find out more at kingsbridgeprivatehospital.com/cross-border. Kingsbridge, your fast track to 5-star care. Terms and conditions apply.
Experience an evening of pure magic as one of Ireland's most beloved composers returns to the stage. Join Phil Coulter for Tranquility by Candlelight, live at Angrinnan Theatre, Letterkenny on Tuesday, November 11th. A night of beautiful music, heartfelt stories and soothing serenity. Tickets are now available from angrinnan.com or Angrinnan Theatre box office. Don't miss Phil Coulter, Tranquility by Candlelight, Tuesday, November 11th at Angrinnan Theatre, Letterkenny.
Make great photos into beautiful gifts at McGee's Chemist Letterkenny. Different gift ideas include canvas prints, freestanding or ready-to-hang art blocks, and personalised photo books, perfect to mark any occasion. There's also jigsaws, calendars, mugs, and much more. For details, visit mcgees.ie. Turn your favourite moments into something truly special with McGee's Chemist Letterkenny.
So we got an update on the 10T project and progress in relation to that, and things are progressing in terms of the planning process and the issuing of CPOs into the future, and a potential start date 2028 with a construction time with a good tailwind of 5 years. One element of that, of course, is the Twin Towns bypass, which has been on the agenda for 60 odd years, probably more, I don't know. Councillor Patrick McGowan, of course, is a Fianna Fáil councillor in that area. He joins me now. Good morning, Patrick.
Good morning, Greg.
Now, obviously, there's been a lot of false dawns, reroutings and all that type of stuff. Do you believe genuinely we are as close as ever to seeing a bypass off the Twin Towns?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why when the colleagues came over and asked the council to bring get the TAA and anybody connected to them and to the council there last Friday, just so we get a clear message, and try and get a feel of the thing, because we've been getting bits and pieces of reports and which have been passed out to the public, but we wanted to just have a question and answer session, because the fact that we've all been here before and people have said 3 or 4 different times, so we wanted to see what makes the senior engineers in the council and management, and what makes the senior people here in the county, because we have a TAI office in Donegal, what makes them so certain. So we had a question and answer session, and it is very good. Look, we know where we are now. It's supposed to start in 2028 and finish in 2032, but we were asking them what makes them so certain. What makes us think that, I'm sure there's 30 or 40 other similar projects all over the country, from Dublin, Lewis to you name it. What makes us think that we will eventually get funding? Will we get the support in that? And basically what they have said, this is TNT, it's Trans-European Network, and basically they're going to be putting a lot of money into it. And the way they have looked at it, in Ireland, we're an area, this north-northwest is an area, it's an area in transition, it's lagging behind, and unless they want us to rely on Dublin for the rest of our lives from time again, they're going to have to, and it's within the periphery areas and outer periphery areas within Europe, and then again within Ireland.
I would say that it's clear that the paperwork and the groundwork is being done. This will also come down, though, to a significant funding commitment from government, that actually being budgeted over consecutive years. That's outside the control of the Roads Office. Are you optimistic that the government will put its hands in its pockets and fund this €1 billion project for multiple years?
Yeah, I think so, and the fact that a lot of the money is going to be coming from Europe and a lot of the pressure and support, they're just not going to allow every country to go ahead and just develop their sort of capitals and ignore the rest, because that's what Europe's based on. But I think too as well, the feeling we have been getting back over consecutive governments in the last number of years is yes. Even look, in the last time they said when the Greens was in, and they wouldn't be most favoured to build new roads and motorways or anything else. They did say it. We met Minister Eamon Ryan at the time. There's 100% beside this job of all jobs. Well, there was no question about that it warranted all of the studies, the social, economic,
I think
the
though
need for it.
I agree, but I think we're at a benefit that the Greens aren't in government, because they would fund projects like this, but it would it would be as a percentage of funding of green projects, so to speak.
Other
we would
sustainable
have
transport,
exactly
something like 2 to 1.
Okay, so
and look, and we're only seeing that'll be now next year we will actually see that change in this sort of 2 to 1. That's why there's very little turn going on in the last couple of years. So look, definitely with all of the commitment there, all of the feedback we're getting politically anyway. That's why we brought the engineers, and we wanted to see, and Lifford was the engineers singing the same song as we were getting out of from senior departments and the politicians in Dublin, and they are. And look, when we go now in January to board and all, there's 2 parts to it. There's also to get planning permission for the design and the route, and the other part is to publish the names, because we will be compulsory taking the land. We will be compulsory purchasing the land, and that needs the permission. So both have to stand up, and all the best brains in this country and together feel that we have a very, very good chance.
And we've gone, and I just want to move the conversation on. I don't want to speak over you, but we've went through that process of it in quite a bit of detail over the last few days. And I understand if people are cynical that this will never go ahead, but we do seem to be on the brink of it happening. So we know bypasses, they can make a town, or they can make 2 towns, or they can destroy them as well. There's a relatively short window then to sort of say, well, what does Ballabafay-Stranorlar look like post-bypass? Does it become a ghost towns, or does it thrive and get off the top of that list of vacant commercial property list that it's on every blooming year?
Yeah, well, look, you're right, and the council, we spoke to the Liam Ward and a number of council management there 2 or 3 years ago, including the CEO, about this. Like, we can prepare for the bypass, prepare the town for it. We're not in control of the time frame of the bypass, but the one thing we are in control is in the town, and that's why they have prioritised Ballabafay a lot for these town teams, renewing a lot of the businesses. Obviously, slow to get the seed project off the ground, but that's the sort of kick-started. There's a lot of initiatives going on at the moment, but there's only so much the council and the rest can do. Like, it's a lot's going to be down to the businesses, and the Chamber of Commerce has sort of reinvented itself there in the last 6 months to a year in Ballabafay, and sort of very, very active. They're widening their spread. So it's both the Chamber of Commerce and the council working hand in hand. And like, we're not talking about the road section here, we're talking about economic development, tourism, all the different sectors within the council.
Well, it has to become a destination, because it's going to be so easy to drive past Ballabafay-Stranorlar, and I don't think you can rely on anchor amazing businesses like McElhenny's or fantastic hotels, which the Twin Towns is blessed with. It needs more to become a destination.
We're very fortunate because, we're one of a few towns about. When you look at it, we have 3 banks, we have 3 hotels, 3 of them, and we don't want to lose. A lot of towns have seen that, and they've never been bypassed. Donegal Town is a good example, but they were always, as you know, a destination town. Ballabafay has to become a destination town. Plus continue the good service, the likes of McElhenny's and the hotels and that as well, for passenger, for meals and for 1,000 other things. We've fought very hard, the Chamber and ourselves, over the last number of years to get good access into the town, because we're just going to bypass it. We have got the best we can out of trying to get good access from the Donegal side, from the very centre, coming in there around the Glenflynn Road into the centre of the town, and then the out at Killoss back into McLeay's, and then again linking up there down to St. Joseph's. So we have fought very, very, very hard to keep them good access, new roads, good wide roads with cycle lanes, and people can get into that.
You see, the way what I think Ballabafay-Stranorlar needs, it needs good access for people with various levels of ability to move around. It needs the town sort of residential population to increase, which means probably getting more people in above shops and that type of stuff. And it needs a wider variety of things. And that groundwork needs to be happening now, I think.
Yeah, well, okay, one part is, and I was saying yesterday there to another station there in Northern Ireland, but the problem is one of the problems in the moment that makes Ballybofey very unattractive for passing through or even the residents and shoppers is you come to McClay's Corner, you come down at the chapel in Stonardy, you come there at McLehamich, the Chestnut Road Junction, and you go up there at Lidle. It's a disaster. You have to run 2 or 3 lines of traffic to get in and out. We can do nothing about that. The TAI, they own that road. They wouldn't have it in any other town. They would be all roundabouts. The local traffic would have a fair shot at getting in and out. So we can't do nothing with the town at the moment while that's a national primary road. Once that's downgraded to regional, we can change the junctions, but we can plan for that now, and we can also try and work with more business to make it more attractive and we'll contain what we have. See, a lot of the buildings in the town were old buildings, weren't suitable. Like we had these Aldi, Lidl, Super Values, where the base was from, but a lot of stuff built, a lot of new buildings on the kind of the outskirts, not too far, just on the periphery of the town, and you have these old buildings that need to be repurposed because you couldn't open shops in them anymore. There is a challenge about living upstairs above a shop because there's insurance issues and stuff like that.
There's government
and
incentives for it.
Even
crying
then,
out loud. Yeah, but there's the government are literally incentivising at the moment tax breaks
but
for
you
businesses.
still have to have yeah, and look, and you talk about these repurposing buildings and stuff like that, and some there's talk now about having not needing planning, but you will need a fire site, so it's just not that easy. And look, we are like a lot of the towns, we are seeing a lot of success. I would say in the last year there, the Chamber's putting it out, they have 5 or 6 new businesses, small businesses, and hope they opening up. So we are beginning to see a lot of the business, even on the main street. You know, some last and some don't, you know, when people are
That's
trying,
business, isn't it?
you know, through the council.
Okay,
Right.
well, no, I was saying that's business. Some will succeed, some will fail. But I think you're right. I think the council also need to be sort of prepping for when it does have control of that road infrastructure. But for now, Councillor Patrick McGowan, thank you very much indeed. A caller says, this will not be done by 2015. There's no way the government is going to put so much money into Donegal. 10T, bridge over the Swilly. It's all just talk from the government to keep us quiet again. Letterkenny yesterday evening was terrible. On an ordinary Tuesday, traffic jams all over the place. I understand where you're coming from, and you're not going to meet anyone more cynical than I am. But the bottom line is this project is progressing and a lot of work is ongoing. And, it will have potentially full planning approval, mid-27. And you would have to see it then sit on the shelf, if you're correct, sit on the shelf there for another, 23 years. It seems to be that it is progressing again. We'll have to wait and see. But I was speaking to an engineer who was doing a survey of the route from Manor Roundabout to Lifford, says a listener. The preferred route had been approved, and according to him, the work would begin shortly. I asked him what the estimate the timeline for the new road would be in terms of its completion. He said he expected the road to be open in 2004. So forgive me if I'm not overly excited about this latest announcement. Okay, I get you. Right, this is going back a long time ago, yeah. Will the recent provision of the A5 and environmental issues affect the 10T project in the Twin Towns and Letterkenny? Well, we were speaking to the senior roads engineer in relation to this earlier in the week. You must have missed it. And they are designing this road to work whether or not the A5 goes ahead or not. So this project will not be held up by the A5. If it goes ahead, they'll link in a certain way. If it doesn't go ahead, they've got plans to link into the old road infrastructure a different way as well. So it's not, in terms of the planning and the design, it's not reliant on the A5. Jonathan said, after years of discussion, I have the original plans in my possession from 1969, so it'll be discussed 56 years later. It's an absolute disgrace that local councillors, TDs, etc. have not pushed for this long before now. Ballyshannon, Bundoran, Donegal Town weren't even in the running for theirs when Ballybofey and Stranraer were originally proposed for a bypass in 1969. Could it also be mentioned that there isn't one disabled parking space on Stranraer Main Street, and the ones in Ballybofey are not fit for purpose as they're located at high curbs, which makes it almost impossible to get a person into a wheelchair in such a position. But also, too, there's a lot of people, and we had one of them with us on the programme not too long ago that actually are wheelchair users but also drive their own car, and there's zero provision for those people, which is crazy. A caller says, while I appreciate Caroline is trying to do a good thing, people are reluctant to buy from charity shops for fears of being seen in them. I know it's expensive, but if they were more active online, I think they would do better, which is a different business and it's tough. I thought we were through the stage of people being embarrassed about going into charity shops. I've said it on the show before that now I found myself at different events and, you know, instead of people sort of going, I got this dress or this suit for 500 and 600 quid, people actually proudly say that, you know, I picked this up in a charity shop for £5. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think that, maybe it is, but I don't think it should be there, the shame or whatever you might call it. Sorry, but I think we have enough charity shops in Buncrana, says a listener. On the issue of traffic, can anyone tell me why the traffic is backed out to Ballymacool Park? We're just sitting here for the past 40 minutes. There's ongoing work in Letterkenny and it's affecting every route in. Another 35 minutes to get from the Aura to St. Eunan's College, Letterkenny. It's impossible. 35 minutes from St. Eunan's College to the Aura. Wow. That can't be good for the air control. Another traffic mental this morning. Can you get someone on from the council to discuss this? I'm not sure it's the council are responsible for it. Who's doing the active travel? I mean, I know, well, maybe it is the council, I don't know. Who's responsible for which roads and which projects? It can be hard to keep track. But yeah, I just wonder if they're narrowing roads and taking away right turns and left turns, if we're sort of getting a picture postcard of the future. One would hope not. But heading into Christmas, I don't want to be talking about people struggling to get into Letterkenny and doing any damage to the amazing businesses there. But something's going to have to give, and we can't ignore a problem that thousands of people are experiencing.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
Highland Motors Dacia 261 sales event will take place this Thursday the 6th to Saturday the 8th. There's great finance offers from 0%, free service plans, and a €250 voucher for every Dacia customer who places an order during the event weekend. So come along and see the full Dacia range this weekend at Highland Motors Mountaintop Letterkenny. T's and C's apply. Finance offers are subject to lending criteria. See dacia.ie.
McDade's Bathroom Plumbing Tiles in Buncrana continues to be Donegal's go-to destination for stunning bathroom makeovers. With a vast selection of premium tiles and bathroom products, our showroom is your ultimate one-stop shop for crafting the perfect space. We've earned our reputation through expert advice, unbeatable prices and a dedication to customer satisfaction. Visit our showroom in Cockhill and Buncrana and see why we've been Donegal's top choice for 50 years and counting. Call us at 07493 63050.
At Maple, we know our customers are the heart of our stores. So this month, we're saying thank you. Spend €15 or more and you'll be entered to win a thank you from Maple hamper, packed with treats to enjoy. T's and C's apply. And while you're here, why not pre-order your Christmas hampers? The perfect way to make the season extra special. Shop local at Maple Express Carrigart, Fulcara or Castlefin, or at your local Maple store. Fresh, local, convenient. Follow your local Maple store on Facebook for more.
What is Vodafone SIM only? Well, it's the same great Vodafone reliability with unlimited calls, texts and data on the same great Vodafone network for just €25 a month. Perfect when you don't need us to do the phone part. Vodafone. Together we can.
New customers and those switching to our 24-month €25 SIM-only plan. Each April, the price of your plan will increase by €2.50 per month. Full terms see vodafone.ie/terms.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Discover Christmas gift ideas for everyone on your list, from trending beauty to memorable Secret Santa gifts. Visit us in Ballybuffet to explore our extensive range of gifts or shop online at mcelhenneys.com today.
Dull and damp without breaks of rain, heavy at times. The rain will gradually clear northwards early in the afternoon. It'll be drier for the rest of the day with just patches of light rain or drizzle. Temperatures 13 to 15 degrees. Onto the traffic, and Natalie Friel is owner of MCA Hairdressing and is feeling the full force of the traffic issues. Hi, Natalie, how are you keeping?
Hi, how are you?
Are you at work yet?
I am literally just about at work there now.
Right. What time do you open at?
I usually open at 9:30, and this morning I left the house with an hour and a half to get to work from Kilmacrennan, just around about the shop in Kilmacrennan, and it's taken me till now to get from Kilmacrennan to the end of the dual carriageway to leave my wee boy off at crash and back into McCall House on the Pierce Road.
My word, that's it's a toughie having to actually go out the dual carriageway and back in before you can even get to work. So how long have you? An hour and...
The main issue wasn't even. Sorry, the main issue wasn't even coming in the dual carriageway. Like, that's the standard traffic.
Okay.
It was the back of the mountaintop. I sat there for about 35 minutes without moving at all, and I got as far as the roundabout then at the mountaintop, and I turned and I came back down, and I had to go the back roads to try and get to the town a wee bit quicker, thinking that an hour and a half was going to take me to the town no problem and have loads of time to get to work. But I had to actually cancel my first client then, because I was definitely, I'm only landing to work now at 10 to 10, and my first client was in at 9:30.
But I mean, we're living in Donegal here, not New York. You're looking at a 2-hour commute to work.
Yeah, almost, just under the 2 hours, an hour and 45 roughly, to get from Kilmacrennan to leave my baby off to crash and then get to work. And you know what, it has such a negative impact, and that's not even coming into the Christmas rush now.
Yeah.
And the way I am with my business, it's back to back all day. It's client after client after client, and then if you're running 20 minutes behind, it has a negative impact then for the rest of the day. If it means that you haven't had to cancel, it means you're running a half an hour behind for the whole day then. And then coming into Christmas, that's going to be absolutely mental, even more so, because it means, if I'm running behind, my clients are running behind, everything's running behind. It's kind of meaning a massive loss in the business.
Well, I was going to say that too, Natalie, because if you're experiencing these delays in getting to open the business, right, completely out of your control, what does it mean for your clients in terms of them meeting appointments or even bothering? I know you've got a very loyal client base, and they will, don't get me wrong, but we're asking a lot of people, aren't we, in terms of sitting in traffic to get somewhere?
Yeah, absolutely, because even last night, my last client last night was 30 minutes late for her appointment, so at that then I couldn't actually stay on because I had my wee boy to lift. So, things like that then, and then it means that I have to try and squeeze her in elsewhere, or if not, I've lost the money. So it's a lot, it's a hard one to navigate.
Yeah, and I mean, you're doing so well in having your business, having it packed, balancing getting the kid to crash and picking the baby up then after, that's a tough enough setup, right? But then to sort of factor in all of this time on top of it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And then even staff-wise, the other girl that's working for me today, she was 15 minutes late as well because she had rang a taxi in the town, and it took the taxi 40 minutes to get to her house, and she only lives up past the hospital. It's crazy. I don't know. Do you know what? I actually, in my head, I was thinking I'm going to send the council an email this morning because 2 hours, just under 2 hours from Kilmacrennan to the crash to work is ridiculous. But then you feel like it's nearly fallen on deaf ears.
But it's always better it's always better to put it on the record, because you can always say, well, I emailed, and I know it can feel like it's a waste of time. What will it achieve? Well, it'll be on the record and you'll have expressed it. I'm not going to hold you up any further, Natalie, but it's something has to give here, right? Because we don't know if these roadworks are going to leave traffic this bad all of the time. Do you know that sort of a way? Like, we don't know.
Yeah, and especially coming into the busiest time of year now, the traffic is bad as it is, and then coming in, you can even see the traffic building now coming up to Christmas. It started already. What's it going to be like come December? It does worry me for the business too, because I'm like, if I'm not running late and my staff's not running late, my clients are running late, and then everything's all up in the air.
Yeah. And I mean, there's no way around this for you. Like, you could leave the house even earlier, but you could end up actually sitting for an hour outside the creche. You know what I mean? It's a catch-22. Because if you avoid the traffic altogether, you're too early for that. And no one likes to sit in the car with a young one for too long. For obvious reasons. Okay.
Absolutely.
Listen, we'll try and find out what the story is, Natalie. I think you've really framed it really, really well, so that people understand the challenges of someone like yourself trying to get in and do your business. Thank you, Natalie, for your time. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay,
Thank
no,
you.
it's our
Bye-bye.
pleasure. That's Natalie Friel, who's owner of MCA Hairdressing, by the way. So if you can support that business, please do. She's very busy as is, of course. A caller says it's 10 to 10 now and there's still school buses on the Leck Road in Letterkenny trying to get kids to school. It's 7.5 years since a bypass was first mentioned for this area. What are the councillors doing? It took me half an hour to get from Meadow Hill, Kiltoy, to get to the mountaintop this morning. And the thing is, too, with that mountaintop coming up from Kilmacrennan and what Natalie would have experienced with this, there's 2 lanes going up. And then there's potentially 1, 2, 3, 4 lanes of traffic trying to get into one lane opposite us here at Highland. And then you go further down, there's a nightmare of a roundabout. And then further down, they've the road half the size to put a cycle path that no one's ever going to cycle up that hill on. I can tell you that for a fact. You know, unless I'm not even sure if you're a professional cyclist, you want to come up that hill for fun. Who's going to be cycling down mountaintop and up mountaintop to go to the shop or to work? That is a very, very steep incline. And is this, as I say, a taster of what is to come in terms of, travelling in and out with these active travel lanes? And ironically, and I don't mean this badly, the majority of people voted for this are from actually outside Letterkenny. Hi, Greg. It would make more sense to extend the 2 lanes from Illistrin to the mountaintop right the way down to the Optum roundabout. It'll reduce the traffic congestion. Don't need a filter lane to leave this road. Morning, Greg. Who's responsible for these decisions on traffic in this town? Are we in a dictatorship? Is nobody open to criticism? They aren't listening to anyone. That roundabout at the Polestar is nearly 2 years there, and it's made things immeasurably worse. That then was a knock-on effect, or has a knock-on effect on the whole town. It's an embarrassment. Our councils and politicians are utterly, utterly useless. I'm not sure it's the Polestar roundabout that's causing the problems. It seems to be work elsewhere. And don't forget, there's even more traffic lights going in as you come in, say, for instance, on the Ramelton Road, and potentially the road outside the Mount Errigal being reduced to 2 lanes instead of 3, and other parts of the town having turn-offs for businesses and for housing estates done away with. So people will be sitting there waiting to turn right, holding the traffic up even further. It's a recipe for disaster, I think. And I wonder even how it might work once the 10T project is complete. Do people realise, says a listener, that there'll be a tenner of a toll for using the bridge, therefore nobody will use the bridge for pay for it? I mean, that's if they went down public-private partnership. I've not seen that anywhere else other than in your text, but it would be useless if there was a toll on it. A caller says, morning, Letterkenny needs more roads, not houses again. Donegal County Council has messed up. Not all Donegal County Council's responsibility, but I understand where you are coming from. More on traffic, because lots of you have time. Looking forward to the Christmas rush, if it's this bad, on an early November morning. I don't know what our local reps want to say about it. The lines are open to them as much as anyone else, but what we have is thousands of people who are incredibly frustrated in trying to get to hospital appointments, in trying to get to businesses, in trying to support the amazing businesses that are in and around Letterkenny. At what point do people not bother even trying? And as I say, ultimately, this is people turn to local public representatives for some guidance or advice or support in relation to this. So as I say, our lines are open, but people are peeved off, to say the very least. 086 60 25,000, that's the WhatsApp and text number, 086 60 25,000, or if you prefer, give us a call on 074 91 25,000. It's the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio with me, Greg Hughes, back with more after the news.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
McCullough Jewellers in Letterkenny are synonymous with fine jewellery, quality watches and giftware, with stores at Main Street, Letterkenny and the Letterkenny Shopping Centre, or online at ormccullough.com. You can choose from their quality product range in a relaxed atmosphere, and their sales staff will be happy to help you make the right choice, whatever the occasion. McCullough Jewellers, making moments magical for generations.
Get winter ready with the return of the big ski event on Lidl Plus. For layers that last, cosy adult ski jackets 20% off now $23.99. And have everyone bundled up with kids' winter jackets also 20% off now just $13.59. In store this Thursday. Lidl, more to value.
At Hidden Hearing, we believe you should keep hearing it all. Keep dancing. Keep celebrating. Keep laughing. Keep being you. Call 1-800-370-000 or go to hiddenhearing.ie and book a free hearing test today. Hidden Hearing. Your hearing is our expertise.
When you choose to make your meals a little more organic, you're not just enjoying nutritious goodness, you're doing good too by supporting organic farmers and producers. That blissful bit of beef, those fabulous fresh fruit and veg, a dash of delicious dairy, or sumptuous seafood that's succulent and fresh. So whether it's a slice, a starter, a side, or a spread, make your meals a little more organic with certified organic food and drink from Ireland. Learn more at boardbia.ie/organic.
The search for the right mortgage isn't easy, but it's always better with PTSB. So whether you're buying, building, or moving, you'll get a team of your own to help you find the right rate. With dedicated options for energy-efficient homes and an online portal to track every stage of your application, start your mortgage search with PTSB. Apply online today. PTSB. Altogether more human. Lending criteria, terms and conditions apply. Over 18s only. Security and insurance is required. Permanent TSB PLC trading as PTSB is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. Donald Kavanagh at the news desk. We're continuing our series of reports and interviews on the 10T Road project today with a focus on the proposed new Ballyrain to Dry Arch Road, incorporating a new bridge over the Swilly and 2 new junctions on the dual carriageway, including a significant expansion of the Trimmer junction. You can see maps and pictures on our website, highlandradio.com. However, questions have been asked about the proximity of the new road, which will start at Letterkenny's Creamery roundabout, to the Polestar, where there's already significant congestion on a daily basis. Among those concerned is Councillor Liam Blaney, who previously argued that the new bridge will be further out the Ramelton Road, allowing motorists coming in from that direction to avoid Letterkenny completely. He's concerned that may still be a factor.
I believe that at the time of the bridge would come to pass, that trying to get into what was known as the Creamery roundabout, to get onto that route to the bridge, I felt would be a task on its own, and I thought that would be better planning to have it further out and have a link road from the mountain top over as well to take all the cars coming from the west of the county. Didn't have to go into Letterkenny.
Donegal County Council's new tourism strategy has been formally launched, with officials saying the document sets out a shared vision for the continued growth of Donegal as a leading sustainable tourism destination. The strategy seeks to ensure the county's natural landscapes, cultural heritage and communities remain at the heart of tourism development, with sustainability at its core. The strategy is built around 5 key pillars. There's a link to the full document on our website, highlandradio.com. Well, Cathaoirleach Councillor Paul Canning says collaboration between the council and industry figures is key.
Donegal County Council has widened its horizon in relation to the tourism, and there is a great team within Donegal County Council and with the Tourism Board and with Board Fáilte that are collaborating and working well together. So all those stakeholders are putting in a lot of effort and a lot of work.
Gardaí are investigating a major fire in Carrick-on-Shannon last night. It's understood the blaze broke out in the town's park area after 9. Local reports say 2 boats caught fire. Flames started on one vessel before spreading to the other. The fire was under control by midnight. No injuries have been reported. The north coast of Derry and Antrim is dying as a result of short-term lets and holiday homes. That's according to East Derry MLA Cara Hunter, who moved a motion in the Assembly this week calling for action to help local people live and work in their own areas. The motion received cross-party support. Ms Hunter told the Assembly the situation in towns like Port Stewart is now critical.
The lack of housing and the explosion of second home ownership in our constituency, particularly the North Coast, is leading to the unravelling of community life and a sense of community as we know it. People from the North Coast in particular, people who have grown up there, people who I know who have been schooled there, people who have roots and connections dating back decades and generations, are increasingly being forced to make life elsewhere when they don't want to.
Police in the north responded to nearly 110 mental health crisis calls on average per day over the past year. The service says this is impacting core policing areas. With more, here's James Gould.
On average, that shocking figure works out at nearly 110 calls per day. The PSNI said officers are increasingly acting as the first responders to mental health crises. Alliance Party Policing Board member Nuala McAllister says this also has an impact on those who are clearly needing that mental help.
My concern is that people will think that they're doing something wrong, but actually these people are in serious need of medical assistance, and in Northern Ireland we too often turn a blind eye to mental health crises.
The service said data shows that this was equivalent to over 100,000 hours a year.
And inspectors have found fire safety concerns in more than 50 accommodation centres for asylum seekers operated by International Protection Accommodation Services. Issues flagged include slow evacuation drills, blocked exits, propped open fire doors and overcrowded rooms. The Department of Justice says many of the problems may already have been fixed. Where it's not satisfied with the standard of accommodation, it will and has cancelled contracts. Well, Ellen Coyne, political correspondent with the Irish Times, says the length of time to get residents evacuated in some fire drills was concerning, and one of the concerns was expressed about a premises in Donegal.
Anyone listening has been through a fire drill in work where you can get much higher volumes of people out in a much faster time. An inspector said that a 25-minute evacuation for 86 people was excessively long. You also had situations where there was a centre in the north of the country where there's 350 people living there. There was only 141 of them there at the time for the drill, and it still took 18 minutes.
Weather forecast dull and damp with outbreaks of rain, heavy at times. The rain gradually clearing northwards early in the afternoon, drier for the rest of today with just some patches of light rain or drizzle, some mist and fog as well, in top temperatures of 13 to 15 degrees Celsius, light southerly winds. That's Highland Radio News, back with headlines at 11. In the interim, check all the day's news on highlandradio.com. But for now, from the news team, good morning. The obituary notices for this Wednesday morning, the 5th of November. The death has taken place of George Gethens, 4 The Cottages, Curragh Lane, Lifford, formerly of Jinks Avenue, Sligo. Reposing at his home from 4 o'clock this afternoon. Funeral from there on Friday afternoon at 1:15 for Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Murlough, Lifford at 1:30, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Donations in lieu of flowers please to the Oncology Unit, Letterkenny University Hospital, care of Quigley Funeral Directors. Family time please from 10 p.m. to 11 a.m. and on the morning of the funeral. The Requiem Mass can be viewed live via the parish webcam. The death has taken place of Joe Shields, Patrick J, Dunmore, Carrigart. Reposing at his late residence. Funeral from there tomorrow morning to St John the Baptist Church, Carrigart for 11 o'clock funeral mass, followed by burial in Carrigart Cemetery. Family time please from 10 o'clock tonight and before the funeral tomorrow. A shuttle bus will be in operation from the chapel car park in Carrigart from 5 o'clock this evening. Family flowers only please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Friends of Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member or Joe Logue, Funeral Director. The death has taken place of Jimmy Doherty, Knockastoller, Bunbeg, originally of Carricaquill, Ranafast. His remains will repose at his home in Knockastoller today from 11 a.m. until Rosary at 8 p.m. House private please on the morning of the funeral. The funeral mass will take place tomorrow in St Mary's Star of the Sea Church, Annagry at 12 noon, with burial afterwards in the new graveyard, Annagry. The funeral mass can be viewed live on Kieran Rorty, Funeral Director's Facebook page and on the Annagry Parish webcam. And the death has taken place of Hugh Sullivan, Carroll Trasna, Greencastle. Funeral from his home this morning at 10:30 for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass in St Mary's Church, Ballybrack, followed by interment in Ballybrack Cemetery. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
Aldi, Black Friday's not just one day, it lasts a whole month. So time to take advantage of some phenomenal offers. In store November 6th, a sharp 50-inch smart TV for just $299.99. Tell you what, that's worth watching. A double stack air fryer at a very tasty $79.99. And a walking pad only $109.99. So, better step on it and get down to Aldi while stocks last.
Welcome into the second hour of Wednesday's 9 till noon show. Read the bypass. People from outside the town are avoiding it because of the high volume of traffic, just like Letterkenny. I presume that's Ballybofey Snowler, is it that you're talking of? Read the 10T. I rushed in to tell my grandmother that the bypass was coming. She said that the grass will be green and long over my grave before they get the shovel out for my grave. My grandmother has been dead since 2013, so she was right. Okay, it's an interesting one. Lots of you messaging in on the traffic, as you can imagine, because it is affecting thousands of people. I know I never go anywhere near Letterkenny unless it is for some medical reason at the hospital. I used to be a member of Letterkenny Golf Club, but I gave that up as I couldn't cope with the length of time it took to get as far as the Polestar roundabout from the golf club. Businesses must be adversely affected by this ongoing situation. And although they talk about trying to get people into public transport, what do? Put in cycle lanes. They have made wide roads narrow to put them in. Who wants to sit in a bus when you are stuck in traffic? It's bus lanes that should be put in. That way people might get the bus. Thanks. Thank you for that. Councillors from outside Letterkenny who voted for the work at the hospital in Ballyrain may have some excuse, but councillors from the town, mainly McMonigal, Kavanagh and McGarvey, should know better. They should be ashamed of themselves. It's a complete waste of taxpayers' money and an insult to the businesses and workers coming to work in the morning. It should be scrapped immediately. Another high Greg Letterkenny is a complete disaster. It's time they got a few designers from the north or England to sort the mess they have made of Letterkenny. Anything they try to do in Letterkenny, they make a complete shambles of it. The amount of people staying away from the town is unbelievable. And chatting to people around where I live, they will not be going to Letterkenny this Christmas for shopping because of the traffic. Thanks, Greg. Well, it's really, I do understand that, it depends on certain times, right? So the one thing, we have to be fair in terms of the balance and what have you. Yes, there's major issues, but you can get into Letterkenny, and once you're in Letterkenny, move relatively freely around it. And there are some great businesses, and these are local businesses and local people doing a great job in terms of providing value for money, providing employment, supporting local community projects, etc. So, but it's hard to consider that, I understand, when you don't fancy being stuck in traffic. A caller believes our councillors are to blame. They all but 2 or 3 voted for these cycling lanes, yet no one is on a bike. Another, I live in Glencar in Letterkenny. To go to my physio appointment at St Connell's Hospital, I left my house at 8:10 and I got to St Connell's Hospital at 8:40. On a good day, you should drive that in 5 minutes. That's a half an hour from Glencar to St Connell's Hospital. A caller says not enough traffic lights to keep the traffic flowing at various busy times. Well, there are more traffic lights going in. Could you mention on air if the council could paint the white lines between Carrigan's and St Johnston, and Cat's Eyes would be great. It's such a dark road. Yeah, we'll mention that. Maybe a local councillor might pick up on that. You can mention that we in Donegal Town campaigned to keep the Donegal Educate Centre in Donegal Town, but it's now in the mountaintop, adding to the problem. Yeah, of course, and that campaign was platformed very much so on this programme as well, and the counterpoints were in there, of course, for balance. The traffic in Letterkenny, says a listener, is disgraceful. Try living in Ashlawn from 5 to 8 to 9:05. 400 cars went through our estate to get out at the lights at the ATU. Somebody is to stand out on the road to allow you to get out of your driveway. Wow, so it's just like a little mini bypass. 400 cars through that estate in an hour, my word. Why is the roads engineers not held responsible for the absolute mess of traffic in Letterkenny, says a listener. Another, the traffic comes in from Ballymacool It's terrible every morning and it's getting worse. You have a traffic light at Old Duns, which is useless. There should be a crossing there. Traffic coming down the back road, going up the back road and coming down the main street. Terrible. Then you have a pancake roundabout at Old Duns with 5 lanes coming onto it. This is the entire problem. We pay qualified people to make decisions, and yet councillors with no qualifications vote on their decisions. We either trust the people we pay or we don't. The Bonagee link needs to be prioritised on the 10T project. The traffic flow in Letterkenny is getting worse, says a listener. A couple more on this. Greg, it looks like the councillors don't want visitors coming into the town to shop, and with Christmas around the corner, who would want to come here to shop? Thanks, they say. And roadworks more generally. The roadworks in Buncrana to Bridgend are an absolute disgrace. I waited 45 minutes. It should be on the map alerter so that people could have alternative arrangements. We need a person to do a stop-go system, not traffic lights. Yep. Traffic lights are problematic, especially at busy times, because people jump through them, don't they? Right, a couple of requests before we take our break. Hi, can you please say happy birthday to Killian from his wife and family, who's spending his 34th birthday working. Well, it's the middle of the week, Killian. You'll be all right. You can celebrate at the weekend. And 34 is not a roundy one either. It's in the middle. You'll be all right. A big shout out to Mrs. Mary Toy of Cross Quigley's Point on her 96th birthday from Neil and Anne Toy and family. Happy birthday to you, Ms. Mary Toy, or Mrs. Mary Toy. I hope you have a wonderful day and lots of celebrations and that you spoil rotten, etc. Now, I've been asked to mention that a Christmas sale is taking place at Ballymore Parish Hall on Friday the 5th of September at 7 p.m. There'll be a cake stall, homemade jams, vegetables, etc., tea, coffee served, and the bottle stall. We're also inviting traders, bric-a-brac, store holders to come along, €20 per table. We've got a telephone number here. So it's the Ballymore Parish Hall. They're having a Christmas sale on the 5th of December, so they're opening up tables for traders, etc., but also inviting the public to go along. And we are in it now, aren't we? Halloween's gone. We are in the Christmas. My son's living in a house in Galway, and they've got their tree up. They've got the stockings out. They've got the decorations on the roof. They had them up as soon as Halloween was finished. It's too early, I think. I don't mind, each to their own. I'm not one of these people that's judgy like that. But my word, you'd be sick looking at it come December 1st, wouldn't you? And it'll be a fight in our house too as to when stuff goes up. There's absolutely no doubt about that. All right then, 086 60 25,000. That's the WhatsApp and text number, or call 07491 25,000.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Wednesday the 5th of November. You're playing on the blue sheet for the daily prize of €600. The reference number is S3. It's game number 45. The numbers are 43, 45, 25, 81, 24, 23, 18, 77, 42, and finally 83. Phone your claim to 9104833 before midnight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
The future of driving is here. Hyundai are built for what's next, so you can step into tomorrow, today. With innovations in smart tech and style, Hyundai continues as a leader, selling the most plug-in and electric cars in Ireland. The future is today. The future is Hyundai. Step into the future of driving.
Your local dealer is Divers Hyundai, Canal Road, Letterkenny. Call 91 22 600. Who's watching your home while you're asleep, at work, or on holiday? With the Sheridan Security Alarm System, you can be assured of round-the-clock monitoring. Our central monitoring station is on duty 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, monitoring homes and businesses in the northwest for intruder, fire, panic, and medical signals, giving you the peace of mind you deserve. Sheridan Security Systems, Bonagee, Letterkenny, protecting what you value most. Call us for a free quotation on 9126 6025.
Darren knows these roads. He knows every turn, every tree, every person's house. He knows when he wants to put his foot down. But here's something he doesn't know. He doesn't know that Jim is searching for his phone and has taken his eye off the road, just around the corner ahead. Darren doesn't know this, but they're both about to find out very quickly. Even if you know the road, you don't know what's coming. Say no to speeding. A message from the Road Safety Authority. Visit rsa.ie.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
We're joined in studio now by Tumi Ganwi. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for calling back in. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again, Greg. How are you?
I'm good. Now, you're, would you be a former asylum seeker?
Yes, I'm a former asylum seeker. Yeah.
So you're out of the system now?
I'm out of the system, yes, definitely.
And how's life for you now then?
Life is okay. Being out there, paying my bills, paying my rent and all that. Yeah, it's quite something.
When you were in sort of collective accommodation, where were you staying, Tumi?
I was staying in the Port Road apartments. Yeah.
What's it like?
It was actually a family kind of accommodation.
Yeah.
To be honest, it was quite a nice place because we were not congested. Families were allocated, and every family had their own space and their own small little apartments. So
so you had your own front door effectively,
yes,
which was nice. But in terms of in the early stages, what year did you come here initially?
I came here 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
So there's not an awful lot of money available early on, is there? I think it's €38 now per week.
Yes.
Obviously, there's a little bit more for children. But how was living on that type of an income? Because you wouldn't have been allowed to work at that time. What was it like?
No, you were not allowed to work at that time. And then you were just living on €38. And you were also being cooked for. Sometimes all of us, we are not used to all the Irish food or whatever, but you were not allowed to do anything. All you were supposed to do is just to depend on that money and whatever they offer you. That's what we used to live on.
And the day-to-day stuff, that was covered. You had to cover that with the €38.
Yes, you had to cover so many things because... think about it, the kids also, you had to buy clothes for kids. You have to do things for yourself. You are a woman.
You needed to
yes, exactly.
I'm not saying you do, but
you needed to do so many things with that €38.
So, what is your status now, Tumi? Are you an Irish citizen yet? Have you been given asylum, or because there's a lot of phraseology there and it's not necessarily clear. So what would your status in Ireland be at the moment?
At the moment, I'm actually granted leave to remain. I'm just allowed to stay in Ireland. I'm not a refugee anymore. I'm not, so I can be able to travel to my country and I can travel everywhere I want to go. I have a little bit of freedom than before, so I cannot say I'm an Irish now. Not yet.
Is that important to you to get citizenship?
Yes, that's very important, to be honest. That's very important because you just also want to be out there, to be able to pay tax like everybody else, to be able to live on your own, pay for your bills, do all those kind of things. So you just want your own freedom.
What country did you come here from?
I'm coming from South Africa.
And what was life like in South Africa for you?
Life was not good in South Africa, I must say. I went through a lot of things going on in my life. I came here as a former politician from South Africa, and it was bad, whereby, I was shot. There were so many things that happened to me back in South Africa, but...
your life would have been in danger, would it, if you had remained
I
there?
don't think I would still be alive now,
Because
to be
of
honest.
your political opinions.
Exactly. Because we differ in politics, Yeah,
of course. You brought 3 children here with you, did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so obviously you had to think about their future as well.
Yes, exactly.
And they're in school now?
Yes, they're all in school.
How are they getting on?
They're getting all well, and
Have
they
we
love it.
Donegal accents yet?
They all have this Donegal accent. Sometimes I can't even hear what they're saying.
Right. So we're at a stage in this country now where some people won't even like me talking to you. Do you get that? Do you know, like, that some people will go, "Oh, refugees, refugees, refugees." Do
Oh,
you know what
yes.
I mean? Like,
Yes,
that even say
exactly.
that, like me and you were chatting here now, right?
Exactly.
In a civil way, just normal people chatting, right? But we're in a situation now whereby people might start commenting if we're on social media or what have you. Do you get a sense of that, and how does that make you feel?
Well, you know what? I get that a lot. You know, sometimes you go on social media, you go live on social media, and people will be like, "Go home, do that. You don't belong here. Your country needs you. This and that." There will be so many comments, but then you cannot judge the whole of Ireland
I think
because of a few other people.
Yeah,
you know?
and this is the thing. This is the thing as well too. This is a very complicated situation in terms of immigration policy and who comes in, who doesn't come in. And there are people, and I've spoken to people who themselves have come through the asylum system and are now living and working in Ireland, or have come here on legal visas from other countries, that share concerns about the immigration system, about knowing the background of people, for an example, and all that. So it's not necessarily but then there are those who can hitch their wagon to not liking anyone that looks different to them.
Exactly.
So it's a mixing pot.
Exactly.
Right. So we heard reports now that asylum seekers who are working here will have to pay between 15 and €238 a week for their accommodation. These under new proposals, and everything that's proposed at the moment goes through, right? Are you able to work at the moment?
Yes, I am able to work at the moment. Yes, I am able to work.
And are you in private accommodation or state-funded accommodation?
I'm in a private accommodation.
Okay, so you're already paying rent yourself?
Yeah, I'm paying rent myself, yeah.
So this doesn't necessarily affect you?
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily affect me, but it affects my fellow asylum seekers that I used to stay with, that I left behind, and all those kind of things. It does affect them.
So, in other words, in asylum seeker accommodation, there are many people who have been allowed to stay and have your status now, right?
Yes.
But they are still living in this type of accommodation.
Yes.
What is the mood amongst them in terms of potentially having to pay now for that accommodation?
Well, it depends on the kind of accommodation that they are staying in. Some of them are happy to say that, you know what, I think we are happy to pay, but there's a but in there, you know. What about our freedom, right? Even if we pay, are we going to get the freedom like anybody else? Or are we still going to be kept like we are staying in prison or whatsoever?
Well, talk to me about that. What do you mean about freedom? So say, for instance, someone is working here, right? How can they still then feel like they're in prison, in inverted commas?
Well, some of them, most of the people, there are lots and lots of asylum centers right now that people are not even allowed to have visitors. People are not allowed to go out without any consent. People are not. There's so many things. There
are
rules.
Curfews, like you can't sort of freely move.
Yes,
in and
you can't
out at
freely
certain
move.
times.
You can't freely move. I have a friend who stays somewhere in I just forgot the county, but I think it's somewhere in Galway. This woman, she cannot, for her to leave, she has to always sign and say, I'm going to come back at this time, and all those kind of things. So if she doesn't come overnight, it's a problem, and it's that. There are still people that are living under those conditions, which is so bad. So if they were to be asked to pay, what are they paying for? For them to still be imprisoned, or are they paying to be free? Are they going to give them their freedom or what?
Yeah. How difficult is it then for people who've been given leave to stay to get private accommodation? I mean, obviously, this is such a shortage of housing. You need deposits, you need references.
Exactly.
It must be very difficult to transition from being legally here, but living in an IPAS centre as such, and then getting into the private rental market.
Yeah, it is. To be honest, it is difficult because, for instance, myself, when I moved from the accommodation center, for the IPAS accommodation center, it was hard. It took me months before I could get a house. It's not easy to get a house. It's not easy to get an accommodation and all those kind of things. So it took me a long time for me to get an accommodation. I would say it would be still nice if people were to be given that accommodation to pay for. but give them their freedom as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm. And I suppose what they pay has to be proportionate to their income as well, because
Yes.
there are all the usual
Mhm.
bills. I don't know, so I'm just asking straight out. Would the majority of those who've been given leave to stay here be working in lower paid jobs?
Yes, most of them, majority
are
of them are in lower pay jobs. Yes.
Right, so they're not working for big tech companies generally
Yeah,
speaking.
yeah.
Okay.
Because I was working for about €12.50, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like close to nothing.
Yeah, especially with 3 kids.
With 3 kids, exactly.
Yeah.
And when you have that, you don't get food anymore in the accommodation. The moment you get your papers, you don't get food. You're not allocated to all the things that you were allocated to when you were an asylum
Even
seeker.
if you're in the centre?
Yes, even
All
if
of-
yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Now they take away the food and whatever, and now you need to look after yourself and the kids and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do we have a responsibility, to be clear with people that are coming here, even if you're fleeing a country like South Africa or Palestine or wherever it might be under great threat?
Yeah.
Do we need to be more clear with people coming into this country, the services that are here, okay? Like, in terms of the amount of accommodation we physically can provide.
Yes.
The truth is there is a IPAS centres can hold a certain amount of people, but to move from that into private accommodation, there are no houses around, okay?
Exactly.
Are people so desperate that doesn't matter? Or do we need to be clearer with people that might be coming here that we don't necessarily have the services to support them?
I think Ireland has to be clear with people that, you know what, we cannot afford to accommodate all of you. If you are too much, we cannot afford to accommodate all of you. And they need to have communication with other EU countries whereby they say, okay, how about we share and say, you guys take part of the people, we take part of the people, so that we can all work together. Instead of saying we're bringing everybody and then people end up, some of them are living in tents, some of them are living in bunk beds, whatever, and all those kind of things. So those are things that I think the government has to introduce into people and say.
So in a way, and I'm not putting words in your mouth to me, nor could I, but like, you would be of the view that we need to have some greater control on immigration?
Of course, yes, definitely. Why not? It has to be done, because if it's not done, then people are going to suffer. Because people are coming here for refuge. When they're coming for refuge, they're expecting to be kept in a place where they are safe, not to be sleeping on the streets and be cold and stuff. They're not expecting that.
You came here in fear of your life in South Africa,
Yes.
and also to ensure that your kids had a life and were alive to have a life. Do you be conscious of the conversation about a great proportion of men coming here with no documents? I mean, your kids, you have to look after your kids the same as anyone else as well. Is that something you would like to see further controls on? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with these guys, right? But, you're seeing large groups of individuals, and I don't care what country it was, but if you put 200 young lads in any particular area, I think it's going to cause problems. I mean, do you understand how that can make people anxious?
Exactly. I do understand that, Greg. But then from the time these people arrive, what does the government say? If somebody comes without documents, and they're supposed to control that and say, why don't you have a document? There's nobody who was born from a field or anywhere. How did they get into the flight? How did they get here without documents? They have to make sure that they look into those matters, because, I mean, we need to look after the country we're staying in as well. We cannot just say, okay, fine, the safety of the country, we need to look at the fact that people have to come here with documents. That the government has to look into that matter as well. They don't just have to just say, okay, fine, they are refugees and stuff like that. They need to look into that matter.
And I think it's very useful, because I said this a little earlier on, for people to understand that lots of people have lots of views in relation to this, and it's not as obvious as people might see. I mean, obviously, this is your home now. Your kids are schooled here and all.
Yes.
Is the political situation improving at all in South Africa? Do you you might decide to stay here for the rest of your life, but do you see any changes over there that might make even holidays for you less perilous, for an example? Are things improving at all? I'm not really.
Yeah.
South Africa is massive.
Yes, it
and
is.
there's lots of different. It's like people say, you know, if someone's from Africa, it
Yes.
doesn't take into consideration the amount of countries and the various situations that are going on in different places. But is there any? Is South Africa any more safe now than when you fled it in 2019?
South Africa has gotten worse than when I fled South Africa. It's gotten worse. And come to think about it, when I think of the political part, in the political part, I would say it's even getting more worse because people are no longer the same as it was. I would say I'm even glad I'm no longer into politics in South Africa and stuff.
Park that.
I'm done with it, you know. I would say it's going down and there's so many things happening in my country when I look back and stuff like that. I wouldn't mind visiting my country anymore, but just as a visitor, not to say I'm going to stay, because to be honest, it's not good. I wouldn't say it will be good to raise kids there.
Do you think we take, finally, to me, I won't hold you much longer. Do you think we take for granted our political system in this country, that, you know, people can have different views, people can run for office, and you might just, I hope we don't end up in a situation similar to South Africa, but, you know, you might have different opinions to someone politically, but you're not going to try and kill them, for an example, right?
Yes, yes.
Do you think we take our democracy a little bit for granted at times, or?
I would say, to be honest with you, Greg, I might say there is a yes and a no.
Okay.
You know, somewhere, somehow, it's taken for granted. Somehow, it is, you know, it works out for everybody, you know. So those are the things. I cannot say that it's definitely taken for granted or not. Yeah.
Okay. Finally, what's your best dish to cook, right? I'm starving. You talked about the Irish food. All right, give me a South African dish if you were inviting friends around and you want them to get the taste of South Africa.
Okay. Here in Ireland, they say they do barbecue. We say braai.
Right, okay.
Yeah, we say braai. We have this braai vlees, which is like braai meat. We have our sausage called boerewors. It's also in Aldi and in Lidl.
Okay, cool.
It's called boerewors. If you have that meat and you do your braai, and also chakalaka, those are our special.
What is chakalaka?
Chakalaka is a South African vegetables that you put different kind of vegetables like beans, onions and stuff, and you spice it. You put chili and stuff, and you eat it with our pap. That is the most beautiful meal you can ever get. Don't worry, I'll cook it for you.
Okay, listen to me. Don't make promises you can't keep. Tumi, thank you so much for
thank you so
joining
much,
us.
Greg.
And, it's been lovely having you in. We'll be
Thank
back
you.
with more after the break.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from 40,000 to 600,000 euro with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
This week at Dunn Stores, find wines like Dada Malbec or Connoisseur and Oyster Bay Sauvignon Blanc, €10 or less. Get Kellogg's Cornflakes 1.2 kg, Crunchy Nut 1 kg or Shreddies 1.1 kg, just €5. And get Deal 5 of our 12 deals of Christmas with large Cadbury Mars and Haribo selection boxes, any 3 for €9. Plus, save more with your 10/50 voucher. Make Christmas for everyone at Dunn Stores. Terms and conditions apply. Vouchers can be used on next grocery shop. Excludes alcohol. Please drink sensibly.
When it's gone, it's gone. This week's new Wigging at Home Store and More. All cookware sets are all half price. But better hurry, because when all our half price cookware sets are gone, they're gone. Also, all baking trays and tins are still all half price. But when our baking trays and tins and loose cutlery and cutlery sets Wiggings are gone, they're definitely gone. Drop by your local Home Store and More. Visit us online at homestoreandmore.ie. Home Store and More. A happy home.
Join me, Marty Freely, every Friday night from 8 for Rocket Hits on Highland Radio in association with Arena 7. Dine in our newly refurbished Woodbury Grill, Bar and Restaurant this Christmas with DJ After in the bowling bar. Book your Christmas night out at Arena 7 today.
Keep out the cold, cold, cold and ring Fleming for their full range of garage doors, agri doors, insulated doors, milking parlour doors. Fleming, 91 48 234.
Easy Living Furniture would like to invite you, our customers, to our annual Family and Friends event this Thursday, the 6th of November. We'll be offering a magical 50% off our full Christmas range, exclusively in store for one day only, including Christmas trees, decorations, baubles, garlands, wreaths, and so much more. Don't miss out on our most enchanting sale of the year. Visit Easy Living Furniture, Crescent Link Retail Park, Derry, this Thursday.
Looking for a nearly new 2025 model without the new car price? At iMotors, our demo and nearly new cars have little to no mileage, and you'll save thousands versus the new price. Fantastic cars, fantastic savings. Visit imotors.ie or drop by today and drive away a deal you'll love. iMotors, fearless generation.
Welcome back to the programme. Trying to grab me headphones there. 086 60 25,000 is the WhatsApp and text number. Thank you for... I've got a throat infection. Is there one going around? I wonder. And it kind of takes your energy away as well, I've found today anyway. Right, okay, so we're back and I'll be joined by our next guest shortly. But just on the issue of our conversation there with... Timu, I beg your pardon, or Toomey. Thank God this lady came on to educate some of the ignorance in this country. I wish her and her family all the best in her new home. Irish people are all over the world making a new life, and the same people begrudge others coming here. Even the asylum seekers admit there are too many asylum seekers. The lady from South Africa just said so. Yeah, it wasn't a got you. I think the purpose of that conversation is that people... it's not necessarily, as some would like to frame it, them and us. There are people with different attitudes, and there are people that are here from other countries that might share the same concerns that you do as well. So it's good that we get to know each other a little bit more. Right, a new investigation has found 172 instances of political misinformation and disinformation published on X, TikTok, Facebook and YouTube in the 6 weeks leading up to the presidential election on the 24th of October. The report was compiled by the Institute of Strategic Dialogue and the Hope and Courage Collective. Kieran O'Connor is a senior analyst with the Institute of Strategic Dialogue. Good morning, Kieran. Thanks for your time.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. So talk to me about how this information was gathered and tease out a little bit more its findings for us.
Sure, yeah. Well, in the 6 weeks there, as you mentioned, leading up to polling day, ourselves in ISD where I work and researchers in the Hope and Courage Collective gathered data on social media related to three broad narratives, all related to threats to electoral integrity. So the first category, I suppose, was threats to electoral integrity during the campaign. The second was during polling day. And the third were threats to electoral integrity targeting candidates through things like smears, harassment, slurs, derogatory narratives, these kinds of things. So in total, as you mentioned there, we documented and analysed 172 instances of political mis- and disinformation. And this included many false and misleading narratives, both about the electoral process and about candidates. This included claims that sought to claim the nomination process was entirely rigged, that sought to interfere with voting on polling day, or claimed or alleged that the entire election was rigged or fraudulent or not free and fair. So across the board, many different ways by which attempts were made to, I think, frame the election as a foregone conclusion, but also to kind of attack or undermine broad confidence or trust in our democratic process.
Would this catch things like, say, for instance, Fine Gael trying to make an issue of who Catherine Connolly might represent in her legal career and completely and inaccurately misframing that as if she was choosing to, represent banks, when even the government's own Jim O'Callaghan pointed out that is mis and disinformation. So does your analysis pick up the clear mis and disinformation that's peddled by the politicians?
Politicians come into it at times, yes, especially when it reaches a certain threshold. But I think you raise an important point there between accounting for and acknowledging when some claims or rhetorical debates do have elements of factual reporting or factual basis in that, versus others that I think allude to broader conspiratorial agendas. Essentially, I mean, in the report, for example, we didn't include claims that said that candidates were blocked because this was, I think, not reflective of broader conspiratorial claims. But we did include claims that alluded to this being a plot by globalists to steal the election and rob Irish people of their potential, chance to vote. So I think we, at all instances, try to make a careful distinction between claims that are part and parcel of democratic debates versus other ones that are part of broader narratives rooted in false, misleading, sensationalist, delegitimizing claims.
And who sets those boundaries, that criteria? Who would say, right, there's a claim that's can be very easily disproved versus another that can also easily be disproved, yet one is sort of seen as part of the the cut and thrust of politics, and the other is seen as some sort of a conspiracy. So who's the who decides that?
Yeah, well, none of us, I think, are the ultimate arbiters of truth in this. We have the definitions by which we ascribe narrative and content as misinformation, false and misleading claims that are shared without the intent to deceive, or disinformation, which is false or misleading claims, as we define it, that do seem intended to deceive. And this is how we collect data. We collect a lot of data and then we review it and we validate it, and stuff that essentially doesn't pass the threshold or doesn't meet those definitions upon review is discarded, and that which does will then be included in final reports for analysis and kind of broader, I suppose, investigations as well. Yeah.
So what do we do with this information? Like, does this show a high level, a low level?
Yeah, it's very difficult to put a kind of broader context on this because we're only a few, I think, years into seeing emerging, especially online threats to electoral integrity. We put out a report last year based largely on reporting around the local and European elections that similarly looked at claims of election interference. And off the top of my head, I think we identified 162 instances in that. So this is broadly similar in that. I think what this illustrates is how social media platforms, especially in election cycles, fast-moving situations like election cycles, that social media platforms are being used to claim, to allege that elections, our very system of democratic processes, are rigged or fraudulent or not free and fair. And we've seen in other jurisdictions how groups of protesters who, are totally convinced of false claims around stolen elections, around fraudulent elections, can take action, can sometimes take violent action. Thankfully, we haven't seen that in Ireland to date, but I think it does paint a picture of how, be it our elections, those in other jurisdictions as well, are coming under increased attack from those who want to, I think, undermine confidence and portray our very system as something inherently corrupt or fraudulent.
Yeah, I get you, but at what point does this catch, misinformation from the people it's almost trying to protect? Do you get where I'm coming from? Like, say, for instance, I mean, there's a load of for instances, but when a politician lies straight up, right? Who's going to bring that to the fore? Who's going to be a report on that? You might remember the incident with the French president on a plane where he lied and says that was AI. You know what I mean? Like a straight up lie, yet this is a person that would be responsible for legislating AI and its usage and what have you. At what point are we going to have organizations, and it's not necessarily going to be the ISD, that actually are holding blatant lies and mistruths from the very people that are running for election, if that makes sense?
Yeah, well, I think we saw good examples of reporting in newspapers and radio stations and other forms of media in this country during the presidential
Well,
election.
we didn't really. I'm not pulling. You're not to defend this, but we had Ivan Yates, who was on national radio as an independent arbiter, who actually turns out that he's made an absolute fortune coaching the very TDs that are running in the election, and he's purporting to be independently critical of. Who's going to pull them up? You know, do you get where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think a lot of the Ivan Yates claims, I don't want to obviously not...
No, of course, yeah,
not
I'm
our
just giving
specialty,
examples.
But I think a lot of that has come out in, I think it was the Irish Independent who've been leading a lot of reporting around that. And I think the broader point here is that, as you mentioned, politicians engaging in false or misleading claims, the issue, we label it as mis and disinformation now, but false and misleading information in the context of elections, it's not new. This is not a new phenomenon.
Yep.
I think what is different now in the last 10 years especially is the speed and scale and potential reach that any number of claims that are just posted very sporadically, very quickly, spontaneously on social media can have impact and can motivate people to either take action or, as I said, in kind of other jurisdictions, perhaps take violent action as well.
For sure, yeah.
I think it's kind of the broader context here is the increased threats that we're seeing from so many platforms, from so many different types of people now against our own forms of electoral integrity and democratic processes.
Yeah, brilliant. All right. And if people want more information about the study, is it available online?
It is, yeah. If you go to isdglobal.org, you'll see it there on our website. It's one of the most recent pieces we published. And yeah, that's probably the best place.
Thank you so much for your time, Kieran. I really appreciate it. Look after yourself. That's Kieran O'Connor, Senior Analyst with the Institute of Strategic Dialogue.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Seasonal loans now available for Christmas. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
Shop Homeland's mega deals now until November 21st. Save 25% off Dulux Easy Care, Final Mat and Soft Sheen 2.5 litre and 5 litre sizes. Jefferson 3 kilowatt petrol generator now €499, save €100. All this and more in store and online at homeland.ie.
Looking ahead to 2026? Now's the time to order your 261 Kia at Heron Auto, Donegal Town. With 5 brand new Kia models arriving, there's never been a better time to upgrade. With smart design, a 7-year warranty and finance starting from 0%, Kia delivers style, comfort and performance you can rely on. Visit Heron Auto, Donegal Town. Secure your 261 model today. Drive with confidence, drive with Heron Auto.
What difference can changing your home heating make? Well, if you switch from oil to Keller gas, it's a bigger difference than you think. Because every new Keller customer gets a blend of our renewable gas, bio-LPG. Works like regular gas but with lower emissions. So now every cosy night in and instant hot shower is that bit cleaner, greener and more sustainable. Switch today and you'll also get a free boiler. Terms and conditions apply. Learn more at kellergas.ie. Keller, the energy that connects us.
Welcome to Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms in Donegal Town. Discover affordable luxury with our bespoke fitted furniture solutions. With almost 30 years of serving Ireland and the Northwest, we're your trusted experts. Visit us Monday to Friday 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. and on Saturdays from 9 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. Book your free consultation today on 074 9725822 or visit cherrymore.ie. Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms, where affordability and luxury combine.
Healthwise Pharmacy's annual customer care weekend takes place this Friday the 7th and Saturday the 8th of November with a minimum of 20% off all things Christmas, including fragrance, gift sets and electrical. It's not to be missed. There will be further massive reductions on selected lines while stocks last. Kickstart your Christmas and call to Healthwise Pharmacies this weekend. Healthwise, caring for your community.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhinney's. Discover Christmas gift ideas for everyone on your list, from trending beauty to memorable Secret Santa gifts. Visit us in Ballybuffet to explore our extensive range of gifts or shop online at mcelhinney's.com today.
So dull and damp without breaks of rain, heavy at times. That was this morning. That rain is going to clear out of the region northwards early in the afternoon and leave a dry day for the most part, with just a few patches of light rain or drizzle, some mist or fog around too. You know where that's going to gather. Temperatures 13 to 15 degrees. I'll give you tonight. Largely dry start tonight, though rain will spread from the south overnight. There'll be mist and fog patches too. Temperatures quite mild, 10 to 13 degrees. Now, Here's a little something extra from Belfast International Airport. We here at Highland Radio, we've got a fantastic competition running right now on our socials. You could win a week's car parking, up to 4 priority security passes, and up to 4 vouchers for the Causeway Lounge. It's perfect for your next getaway with Belfast International Airport, whether it's the winter sun, city sights or Christmas markets. You can check out their exciting winter schedule and start planning your next adventure. So if you want to win that little package that makes that journey extra special, head over to our socials and follow, like and tag for your chance to win. And the winner will be announced on Highland Radio's social media on Wednesday the 12th of November. Just be aware of fake accounts. There's nothing we can do about it or any other company. We'll never ask you to click on any links or provide any private details, right? So if you got a message saying you've won, click this link, that ain't us. We'll do it in a very open, clear and transparent fashion. So you could make that little trip up to the Belfast International Airport even more special. Get on over to our socials, be it Facebook or Instagram. Hi, Greg. What about all the abuse and absolute misinformation, that the government TD did during the referendum? I'm surprised no one is ever held accountable. I suppose maybe it's the argument that they're held accountable at the ballot box. I don't know. If people who are seeking asylum had the choice, if there was no war in their own countries, would they want to stay in Ireland? The culture shock can be difficult for some people. Would they rather be here or at home? There's lots of different reasons as to why people might leave a country. Like, you know, if people have moved from this country, it could be family disputes, it could be arguments over a blooming right of way that people might say, you know what, stuff it, I can't live there anymore, I'm going somewhere else. It's very nuanced as to why people might choose to go to a different country, and we do that. Christmas cards. Wow, Greg, this is so sad. I received a Christmas card this morning from state sister Stanislaus Kennedy, the great nun who passed away yesterday. Mary, it's sad, but it's amazing. What a wonderful thing to receive as well. I know it's incredibly sad because of her passing, but wow, you can hold on to that. She was obviously such an important person, and now you have that Christmas card which you received posthumously, really, which is, I don't know, it's really kind of special, isn't it? I've been told to mention that there's a return to our true selves. It's an evening of self-love, empowerment and reconciliation. Join us for gentle, powerful conversations in a relaxed, heart-centered space. Together, we'll explore simple ways to love and honour ourselves more deeply. So you need to love yourself more. I don't think you can expect anyone to love you until you really love yourself. I think that's helpful. Anyway, guest speakers, uplifting stories, heartfelt inspiration. It's at the Ballyliffin Hotel. The event begins at 7 p.m. on the 11th of the 11th, and it's an energetic date of awakening and alignment. 11 at the door, cash only. Katrina Montgomery Devlin's hosting that, and we were asked to mention it, and there you are. It is mentioned. Right. Letterkenny is so busy now with traffic, never mind the Christmas period. I don't intend going near it. On the bank holiday weekend, not once, but twice in different car parks. I had to climb in the passenger side as the driver left me no room to get into my car. A nightmare. And yes, I was parked properly within the lines. I wish drivers would think and be a bit more considerate. Luckily, I was able to climb in the passenger side. Not everyone could, indeed. I'm not excusing anyone that's trapping you in. I do think in some areas of Letterkenny, the lines are pretty tight, especially the fact that everyone's driving an SUV seemingly at the moment. I'm not sure they were designed for that. And if the driver pulling in is any way out of line, it can cause problems. But, yep, I know what you're saying. Loads more coming in the traffic. We got a call from the hospice saying our mother wasn't well. I left Rafo, and an hour and a half later because of traffic I made it, but unfortunately missed her final moments after 3 weeks of being with her. The councillors voting the roadworks and cycle lanes are a disgrace. They should be on the radio answering to the thousands of people affected by their decisions. Can I just say, by the way, separate to the traffic, I'm really sorry for your loss, and I'm very sorry that you weren't able to make it there. But I hope you don't beat yourself up about that as you're actually grieving as well. It was outside of your control, and I hope you can carry that forward with the lovely memories of your mum and what have you. But it's very, very annoying for you. I'm not in any way sort of playing that down, but I hope it doesn't. 2 words, says a listener. Ring road. Yeah, what the ring road do? We're not going to get a ring road, and when I say we, I mean you. I don't live in Letterkenny, but anyway, there you go. Hedge cutting, no hedges cut for 2 years on Laconnell and Mahara in Ardra. What's going on there? I don't know. Let us know.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Ah, I see your future. Smooth roads, silent drives. You're starting 2026 in style, behind the wheel of a brand new Kia. I see Kia EV3, all new EV4 and EV5, new EV6 and EV9, 0% finance available, free home charger and a chance to win €10,000, exclusive to iMotors.
We can't predict the future, but we can help you build it. Your future looks electric. Terms and conditions apply. iMotors, the fearless generation.
Hillary's best ever Black Friday sale is now on, and it doesn't get any better than this. With an extra 10% off absolutely everything. That's on top of up to 50% off hundreds of made-to-measure blinds, curtains and shutters. Plus, control your blinds from anywhere with a half-price smart hub when you buy any electric blind, with measuring and fitting always included. And word to the window-wise, if you order your blinds and curtains now, we'll fit in time for Christmas. Book your free in-home appointment today at hillarys.ie. Conditions apply.
The Three Amigos, Jimmy Buckley, Robert Mazzell and Patrick Feeney are back on tour. This award-winning show is full of laughter, music and song. See the Three Amigos live. Clonry Hotel, Letterkenny, Monday, January 26th. Tickets priced $39.50, now on sale at hotel reception and ticketmaster.ie, where extra charges may apply. The Three Amigos live. This show is not to be missed.
Tá an scéim chlárú uaibríoch mo chiiste an tauchaí ag teacht. A ostóri tá sé chur siimplí le héan dó trí. Céim a héan. Críochnaí de frófíl thairsach mai Future Fund de mína nullag. Céim a dó, socrí mó ícíochta. Céim a trí, lean leis a báral a maras gná, tá sí na rannaí cíochtaí a mianor. Cuimhne bhfuil dúlgasart chlárú go huaibríoch tar an tlé. Agus nádin dermad a chur a nuúlda de ostathe má tá siad chláirithe. Tuile eolais ar fáil ar gov.ie/fostóirí. Teachtareacht ó Rialtas na hÉireann.
With all the stories that matter across the Northwest, it's Greg Hughes on the 9 to noon show on Highland Radio.
It is 11 o'clock. Let's get a news update and say good morning once again to Donald Kavanagh.
Thank you very much indeed, Greg. Donegal County Council's new tourism strategy has been formally launched. Officials say the document sets out a shared vision for the continued growth of the county as a leading sustainable tourism destination. The strategy seeks to ensure the council's natural landscapes, cultural heritage and communities remain at the heart of tourism development with sustainability at its core. Cahill Paul Canning says he believes that those aims can be met. Questions are still being raised about the location of one of the key elements of the 10T Road project. A proposed new road will run from Ballyrain to Dry Arch, incorporating a new bridge over the Swilly and 2 new junctions on the dual carriageway, one of them a significant expansion of the current Trimmer junction. Maps and pictures are available on highlandradio.com. However, questions have been asked about the proximity of that new road to the Polestar roundabout, where there's already significant congestion. Councillor Liam Blaney is one of those who are saying they believe that the new road should have been located closer to Ramelton. The north coast of Derry and Antrim is dying as a result of short-term lets and holiday homes. That's according to East Derry MLA Cara Hunter, who's moved a motion in the Assembly this week calling for action to help local people live and work in their own areas. The motion received cross-party support. Inspectors have found fire safety concerns in more than 50 accommodation centres for asylum seekers across the country, operated by International Protection Accommodation Services. Issues flagged include slow evacuation drills, one of those issues identified in Donegal, blocked exits, propped open fire doors and overcrowded rooms, also identified as potential hazards. And Uisce Héireann says a reservoir interruption on the Roscoil Peninsula may cause supply disruptions in Downings, Dewey, Melmore, Derrycasson, Meva and surrounding areas over the coming hours. Works scheduled to take place until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, ongoing repair works to a burst main in North Inishowen mean there could be supply issues in the vicinity of Moville, Greencastle, Tullyalley, Clare, Ballyratton, Ballylone, then Crow, Cooley, Ballyhally and Drumaware until 6 o'clock this evening, while in Lifford works around Crahan Heights may cause disruption until 1:45 this afternoon. They're the headlines. Back with news in full at 12 noon.
Donald, thanks so much.
VHI Healthcare gives you and your family more. Get access to VHI Paediatric Clinic, urgent care, online doctor, and much more. Search VHI today and get 15% off kids on a range of plans. VHI, because your health means everything. See vhi.ie for range of plans. VHI Healthcare DAC trading as VHI Healthcare is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland and is tied to VHI Insurance DAC for health insurance in Ireland.
Tina Smith from Moville has been named the Donegal Lidl Family Carer of the Year for 2025. The awards recognise the remarkable commitment, compassion and strength of family carers who provide essential care to loved ones every day. Tina is with me. Hiya, Tina.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
Congratulations. How does it feel to get this title? Can you enjoy it? Are you embarrassed? What's the story?
And the story is, I knew nothing about it. My husband put me on in for it, and I got the shock of my life.
How were you told, Tina?
Well, I got a phone call, but the time I got to it, I didn't get answering it. And then a text came in saying that I won Carers of the Year. So I texted my husband. He was working, and he told me the story then.
It's lovely,
So
and your story, Tina, is a familiar one in that you became a carer. You didn't necessarily plan to become a carer, but life circumstances meant that you had to step up to the plate. As much as you're comfortable in discussing it, Tina, I don't want to pry. What is your pathway into caring?
Well, with my mother, she was diagnosed with multiple myeloma and plasmatoma. It's coming now 15 years. So she was 10 for a year and a half in Letterkenny, and they said it was all in her head. So she decided to go private, so she went to Ballykelly, and she was diagnosed then, so straight to Dublin then. So they done the operation coming out 15 years ago. And she had 3 ribs removed, and they said it was rare, a rare kind of a cancer, what she had.
And how has it affected her over the last 14 years, Tina?
She's been up and down. So she's good days and bad days, but it has taken a toll on her now this last year, I would say, because she's been in the hospital. She's just out there now. She has pneumonia there and sepsis.
But the
she
one...
out yesterday,
yeah, go ahead.
But I'm glad to get her home, so that's the main thing,
The thing about it, with the ups and downs and the good days and the bad days, the consistency there is you, Tina. And of course then you've got your other family responsibilities. You've got your husband who obviously thinks so much of you that he nominated you, but your family as well, other than your mum, the everyday stuff as well as being a carer.
Yeah. You've no time to yourself, really. You're just steady on the go. You need more hours in the day. That's just me, anyway. I would. I'm just steady, flat out from morning to night. But
And
that's the way it is, and that's the way it's going to be.
This is how you've been described by Lidl or Lidl. Tina and her family have faced deep loss, yet she continues to put everyone else first, showing remarkable resilience and compassion. She never complains or takes time for herself and is always thinking of others. Her kindness, dedication and warmth are an example to everyone who knows her, and her family describe her as a living angel. It's lovely that I think that you've got this recognition that you so greatly deserve, Tina. And it's important, isn't it, that we recognise not just once a year or in one competition the amazing work that carers do all year round right across the county.
Yeah, amazing people. Only for them. I don't know what people would do without them.
Okay, well, we wanted to bring you on to congratulate you. So congratulations to you, Tina. You richly deserve it, and send our best wishes to your mum, who's in great hands with you looking after her, and the whole family. And we really appreciate your time talking to us this morning.
Thanks very much, Greg, and thanks again.
Well done to you.
And thanks a million.
All right, bye-bye. Tina Smith there from Moville. She's the Lidl family carer of the year 2025, nominated by her husband. Came as a bit of a shock, but I think it's always nice to recognise what carers do, especially if you've become a carer. Right, lots of you talking about roads. Greg, could you mention the back of Errigal Road? It's dangerous at night because there's no markings on the middle of the road. Thank you. Is it recent works or if they faded? I haven't been on that road in a while, but what's going on there? Of course, factor in the potential for deer out on the road, and it does make it quite a dangerous stretch. Listening to Mary about their efforts with the plan for Fulcara, it's great that everyone's opinions, ideas and input is collated and included going forward. There seems to me a sharp contrast in how the planning for Letterkenny is carried out, thinking in particular about the needs, example, parking spaces in the Ballymacool area. The opinions of locals who have knowledge of their area seems to be ignored. More leis and ober agus leis on Blan. It means good luck with the work and the plan. How did it get on there? Did all right, didn't I? Thank you very much indeed. Traffic congestion. One thing I can't understand is why the government builds their large utility buildings and civil service offices right in the middle of a town instead of outside of it, where property is cheaper and parking is more available. The social welfare buildings opposite Letterkenny Library used to be a very convenient car park before they built that monstrosity of a building, further increasing the traffic congestion. It's a toughie, isn't it? As we've seen over the last number of years, the lies, disinformation that were told to everyone on mainstream media, social media, etc., anyone who tried to say otherwise was hounded. Now it's all gaslighting, trying to convince us that we're being lied to, but it's okay, it's not the government or an official. Another, why can't there be an emergency bridge built across the river? They did it in wartime. A Bailey Bridge. Letterkenny is suffering badly. I've stopped shopping there. The council needs to be held accountable. I know where you're coming from about Bailey Bridges and all that type of stuff, but we're talking, many, many thousands of cars every single day, and I don't think that's going to happen. Rightio, Anne-Marie Dorian McDevitt is with me. Hiya, Anne-Marie. Lovely to chat to you again. How are you getting on?
I'm doing good, Greg. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Now, your mum's birthday recently. Happy birthday. Firstly.
Thank you very much.
Okay, to your mum. And as often happens now, people buy scratch cards. They stick a card in the card, so to speak. And you made quite an observation in relation to this.
That's right. As you're very correct there, scratch cards does seem to be a bit of a thing. And she's quite a popular little lady, so she got quite a stash of these. In fact, there was 30 of them. And I went to her house yesterday, and now my mum's 83. She celebrated her 83rd birthday. So she said to me, Anne-Marie, have a look through those just to make sure that I haven't made any mistakes. She said, I think there's only one of them that there's money on. So the stash was sitting there, and I went through them. And she was right. There was one with money, and it had €1. Like she had said to me, I think there's one with €1. And I was thinking, what? Surely not. €1 surely isn't a prize. I thought the lowest denomination was €2, which is pretty low. But I went through it, and it was €1. I was gobsmacked. I couldn't believe it. So I put it up on social media, and from the comments that I received, everybody's saying, scratch cards, absolute waste of time, don't buy them, this kind of thing. And I didn't even know that €1 was even a prize. I didn't know. I mean, the card was €1. So she said to me, what do I do? She says, do I go to the shop? Is the girl going to open the till and give me €1?
No,
she said, do I get another card for this?
Card, yeah.
But she said, I'm embarrassed. She said, I'm so embarrassed. I'm not even going to take it. She said, I'm not even going to take it to the shop and get another scratch card. That's how she felt about it.
So,
I didn't know it was even a thing.
No, but of the 30 cards, were they a mixture of sort of the more, I think you can get some that are, 5,
yes.
6, 7, €8. Was it a mixture, or were they all the less expensive, lower winning cards?
No, it was a mixture. There was all cash. There was instant win. There was different varieties and different, prizes, different denominations, and yeah. So I mean, I have to say, Greg, I'm not a scratch card person. I'm not a lottery person. I always keep saying to my husband when we win the lottery, and he's like, Anne-Marie, we don't do the lottery, and I'm like, okay, so that would hamper our chances massively. But so I'm not really that familiar. But I did a little bit of a thing. It put me down a bit of a rabbit hole, and I looked at data from Premier Lotteries Ireland. They are the operator of the Irish National Lottery, and sales from scratch cards and interactive instant wins combined last year, 2024, €315 million. That's a lot of dosh.
Yeah, I think scratch cards. You see, when we talk about gambling on this show, and I'm not trying to spoil anyone's fun, Anne-Marie, the big thing we don't actually talk about is scratch cards. Now, I would say there's people working in retail, and I'm not judging anyone or what have you, but they will see people spending an absolute fortune on scratch cards. And say, for instance, in the all cash gold, it's a 1 in 5.8 chance of winning. Like the odds are so narrow, and it's a little bit like fruit machines, which I did have a little bit of an addiction to. I'm not going to lie to you. Back in the day when I was working in pubs in England, I think I was actually addicted to them. They were
everywhere.
Yeah, but you only talk about when you win, right? So, I just got 20 quid out of that machine. You don't talk about the 45 you pumped into it to get the 20 out. And I think scratch cards are a little bit like that. People think people are very lucky with scratch cards, but it would make you wonder how many you have to buy to win that 200 or 300 quid.
Exactly. And I do feel, like as you say, it is always a gift option when it comes to, if say maybe you've forgotten a gift or something, or you're late with a gift, or, so I'll put a few scratch cards in, and everybody's delighted, at the anticipation of possibly winning something, and I just couldn't believe it. I was stunned to see that. As I say, I didn't even know that the prizes were that low to be €1.
Can I ask a question? You didn't actually scratch 30 cards, did you? Because I get a cramp in that fat part of my thumb just scratching one. And the mess they make.
It was No, she did it. My mum did it. It took her a week.
No arthritis.
She's 83. She set out. No, she set out a few every day and did a few every day. She kind of, she siphoned it out, I'll do 3 or 4 today. And that's what she did. So that was when she had the whole stash sitting there when I went in. And that's why she was doubting herself. She was sure she had got it incorrect.
I can see you walking in and her sitting there like up to the waist in this grey stuff that comes off the cards. What have you been doing this week,
What a
Mum?
mess.
What have you been doing this week,
It
Mum?
was an absolute, it was a mess because I didn't know. I had seen this grey stuff on the counter over the previous few days, and I was like, what is this? I didn't connect it, and then it all became apparent.
Right, okay, that's shocking, isn't it? €1 out of 30 scratch cards. Now, like when you talk about odds and winning the lotto, it probably is long odds to have such a low win rate on 30 cards, but still, I think the lotto and lotto cards, and I include me in this, it's a bit of a poor man's tax because it's something we choose to do to try and get out of the quicksand of life, right? It's the dream. Millionaires aren't doing it. It's the poor man that's doing it, and it's just another tax on us that don't have much money to begin with. But that being said, I do the lotto now and again. Don't buy scratch cards; a waste of time, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you're exactly right with what you have said. And it's a thing, it's like what may have started as a pastime, as you say, can turn into a bit of a problem and an addiction. And like nobody says how much they lost on these things. They are saying, I won 50 quid or 100 or whatever. Yeah. And it can accumulate to quite a lot of money down the drain, literally,
Exactly. And it becomes part of the weekly shop or something because it is...
That's right.
It's designed to catch you in. All right, Anne-Marie, interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see what the listeners think. Have a lovely day and happy birthday again to your mum. Anne-Marie Dorian McDevitt there. Scratch cards win rates. Her mum got 30 scratch cards for her birthday. There was one winner, €1. And as I say, then the conversation, I broadened it out a little bit too, that I would say there's quite... I would say there's quite a few people out there that might have a little bit of an addiction to them. Right, gonna take a break. It's Wednesday, so Chris Ashmore's going to be in studio shortly.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
If you need an eye test, look no further than Louis Walsh Opticians. Letterkenny's longest established opticians are delighted to welcome patients new and old to their state-of-the-art practice in the Courtyard Shopping Centre. Their latest technology includes a 3D OCT retinal camera which assesses the health of your eyes in minutes. Private, medical card and PRSI patients welcome. Call 91 21000 to arrange your eye test.
Louis Walsh Opticians, Letterkenny. Your vision, our focus.
TFI Local Link operates evening and weekend services throughout rural Ireland to help you stay connected 7 days a week. We know life doesn't just happen 9 to 5, so if you're commuting, shopping, visiting family, or going out in the evenings or on the weekends, let TFI Local Link take you there. Visit transportforireland.ie.
It's the Right Price Tiles wood flooring and bathware 70% off sale. Get up to 70% off all your purchases. Up to 70% off all tiles, all wood flooring, all bathware. Everything's reduced in store. The 70% off sale at Right Price Tiles wood flooring and bathware. Stores nationwide. Sale now on.
Are you waking up grumpy? Aching? Oh. Or worse, you're walking into the wardrobe instead of the shower because you didn't sleep well.
Ouch!
You need a new mattress. Restex beds have the comfiest, dreamiest mattresses in Donegal. So good you'll snooze through your neighbour's lawnmower on a Saturday morning. Or that barking dog. You don't have to suffer another sleepless night. Call to Restex Beds, Mountaintop, Letterkenny. Restex Beds. Leave the rest to us.
Nutria's Lamb Finisher ATP is now on promotion at your local Homeland store. Buy 10 bags, get one free, or get €15 off per tonne in bulk. Nutria's Lamb Finisher contains 16% crude protein and an ideal balance of energy and protein with intake booster for faster finish. Can be fed to both ewe and ram lambs. Contact your local Homeland store or farm commercial specialist today. Visit nutrias.ie for full product details.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
It is 19 minutes past 11. Chris Ashmore is in to talk, well, primarily mobile phones, it seems, but now business news. How are we getting on? I don't have my sheet. Do you have a sheet for me? Not that we do any research or anything on this programme. How are you keeping? How's your week?
Very good, yes.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
any news, any development, any excitement?
No,
any holidays? You heading to Lanza anytime soon?
Next month.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Right, Wild & Co. Is this a new Donegal company? The name seems familiar, but maybe I've seen it elsewhere in different areas.
It is new. Good story behind this. Now, it's been set up. It's a new
Donegal. Is this
Donegal.
the news? No? Have you any news for me?
I was at the top. I was going to tell you about the conference first.
Right, okay.
We'll start with the energy conference.
Yeah, go on. I don't have that.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Energy conference. Right. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, were you at this conference last year?
No.
Letterkenny Chamber, Causeway Chamber, Letterkenny Chamber, the Northwest Future of Energy Conference. Now, this is a big conference. It's
must have done a bad job because I think I was...
you weren't invited back?
No, I did a... Maybe I'm too inquisitive. No, I wasn't invited back. I wasn't rebooked for that one.
Well, maybe the invites is in your spam folder there somewhere. Anyway, it's on in the White Horse Hotel in Derry, the 19th of November, and it's bringing together people from all sides of the energy business there'll be thought-provoking panels, insights, and a chance for people who have an interest
moderators,
in it.
I'm sure.
And it's one of the big ones in the Northwest, and as we know, there's considerable potential in this part of the world for the green energy projects, and a big shift in the last couple of years, in particular towards more solar initiatives. We've mentioned on the podcast before, indeed, about the grants, not just for homeowners, but businesses. There's a lot of them availing of the grants. And it won't be too long before, I dare say, most roofs are going to have those solar panels on them. It's going that way.
Well,
have you got one yourself?
No, I don't.
No.
They have to close the gap between. They have to close the gap between the grants and the outlay.
Exactly.
You know, and the irony is those that need to complement their power to reduce their bills the most are the least likely to be able to get the solar panels, and that is really just society in a nutshell. Really, it's like old cars.
Yes,
the older your car, the more it is to tax. You tax it 3 months at a time. You pay a penalty on top of that. You know, people who need the hand aren't getting it, and it's going to be people who can afford to bridge that gap between the cost and the grant that are going to have the solar panels on their roofs.
Speaking of bridging the gap, Greg, the difference in the price of your litre of unleaded between north and south with the budget, you'll see now you can pay over 180 for a litre. Here in Donegal, do shop around. I actually noticed yesterday a disparity of 14 cent a litre within 2 kilometres. So, but in the north, it's about 25 to 30 cent a litre less. So that is significant.
Yeah,
if you're
and
filling your tank,
the euro is quite strong against sterling at the moment too, as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to see.
I just don't understand it's an open market, and people, you know, we were given out. I suppose we used to give out, didn't we, when every petrol station appeared to have the same prices. So we can't have our cake and eat it, but it does make you wonder whereby a petrol station that's a little bit more remote can charge 182 a litre, and, you know, 20 minutes away it's 168. But I suppose it's an open market. People can charge what they want to.
Exactly. Yeah. Just one other thing to note: there's a report out today, and the services sector has seen a particular acceleration in growth, according to the latest figures. So, not manufacturing, but the services sector is where a lot of the new jobs are being created. Business services, financial services, technology, media. And as we know, we're pretty much at a full employment situation.
Yeah, statistically, yeah, we are. Anyone who wants a job has a job, effectively speaking. That being said, we have the lowest incomes in the country in Donegal, so that doesn't always tell the full story. Chris, don't be positive. I want to be negative now, but we have to recognise the fact that for some listening, that kind of is grinding. Right, so we get on to Walden Co now, shall we?
We shall. Now, this is a new company. It was founded by Laura McGowan, who is describes herself a food and fitness enthusiast, and John Duffy of the Future Oak Farm, based out near Churchill, and they have spotted what they feel is a real gap in the market. Many of our listeners will be aware that there's a lot of protein bars out there. You see protein on all sorts of labels these days. But a lot of these protein bars are from big manufacturers. You could say they're ultra processed. If you look at the back, there could be things in the ingredients that you may not know what they are. So anyway, they are producing very shortly in a small manufacturing facility in Maharorty venison protein bars. Now, venison, so they're going to be using 100% wild Irish deer from the locality. Venison is a very high protein meat, low fat. It's going to be a low calorie product, nothing artificial added. They've had support through CoLab, Local Enterprise Office, Enterprise Ireland. They've gone through all the hoops, done a lot of research about the product, and it's going to be on Shopify, and they will be launching it in the new year. And they are in the middle of they've just started, in fact, at the moment, a 5-week campaign to help fund the first production run. And we have a clip here from John Duffy, who talks about how they researched the product.
But the question of clean protein and clean sources of protein was one that was really high, because it was a need that we both felt. Then when we went out and we surveyed people that were in kind of Dublin and Galway and Cork and as far away as London and Manchester in the United States, we found that this was kind of a universal problem, that people were basically making a choice between the lesser of two evils. It was either a protein bar that they knew was ultra processed, that they knew they were getting an awful lot of ingredients that they couldn't pronounce, that was part of their consumption, or the alternative was a chocolate bar. So it was the lesser of two evils. And we saw a gap right in the middle there that we could plug quite effectively. We felt we could plug it quite effectively with this incredibly nutritious, wild, natural protein source in the form of wild Irish venison.
I haven't really heard and I'm not sure how they get their hands on the venison, whether it's through abattoirs or what have you, but it's interesting to see some of that wild venison coming into market.
Yeah, and they did look at the possibility of selling venison locally as well. Apparently 95% of the venison in this country that is going through abattoirs and processed is exported. It's not a meat that you see very often out there.
It hasn't really been marketed, right?
No.
It's not been marketed, and yet it is seen as, if you go to a high-end restaurant, venison is seen as a high-end food, but it's not been marketed in a way where it feels, I don't know, accessible as a regular consumer.
And the ironic thing is we have too many deer in this country. There's a big problem at the moment with wild deer and damage to farmland and crops.
I think the whole culling process, if we can sort of make use of more of those in the food chain, I think people would be more comfortable with it. There's some people who are never going to be comfortable with it, but there you go. We have a second clip too.
Yeah, now Laura McGarren here, she explains how it all began from simple beginnings, I suppose.
So it began at the kitchen counter on the farm with a mincer and a dehydrator and a little bit of knowledge and a whole lot of attempts, really. We had created something that we found tasty, that was delicious and served our needs. But it's a different kettle of fish whenever you're supplying a product to the general public. So you need to make sure that it's, first of all, that it's doing exactly what you say in terms of the nutritional profile, but also that it's shelf stable and safe. So we actually worked with the Food Innovation Centre in Derry to develop the product. And generally, whenever it comes to sort of food safety, they want to throw a lot of different chemicals at it. And that was something that we were very strong on going into the development. We want to develop a product that has minimal amount of ingredients in it, but is also shelf stable and convenient. And it took 12 months for us to get there, but we're here finally, and we have a product that has passed all shelf life tests and nutritional testing, delivering 23 grams of protein for 200 calories.
Yeah, I don't understand all of that, but Aaron is mad into fitness and the gym and, PT and all that kind of stuff, and protein is just a word that's in the house now.
It's big business.
But I suppose too, with you, with the longer distance runs in particular, you'd be conscious of protein intake, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and it's after a run as well, important to get the protein in. Yeah.
Right, okay, brilliant stuff. There's much more from both John and Laura from Wild & Co. on this week's Business Matters podcast from Highland Radio, which is available for you, if not now, very shortly on our website, highlandradio.com, and it's broadcast on Sunday also, Chris.
That's right, Greg, after the 6 o'clock news on Sunday. And if you want to contact the programme, the best way is to email me, and the email address is businessmatters, that's all one word, at highlandradio.com.
Thank you very much indeed. A caller says, would you please announce that there's a black and white collie dog running loose in a field where there are sheep in Lamb in Drumfin, Clonbarra area of Falcarra. If the owner would please get it before the dog does damage, thank you. So check to see if yours is where it should be.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
I love the way you never forget our anniversary. I love the way I can do it monthly or all in one go. You're so flexible.
The TV licence. You don't have to love it, but you do have to pay it. It's the law. Get sorted with a direct debit now at tvlicence.ie. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
Everybody has the right to be heard. If a person has a challenge with communication or decision making, there are many ways to enable their voice, such as meeting in person, using assistive technology, or together with their appointed decision supporter.
Respecting rights is a responsibility of all services, and it's the law.
My voice is my right. Assisted decision-making law means I decide.
Safeguardingday.ie from Safeguarding Ireland and the HSE.
With the phasing out of R32 refrigerant and heat pumps, discover next generation comfort with the new award-winning Grant Airona R290 heat pump, delivering exceptional performance with quiet operation. The Grant Airona R290, heating for the future. Think heating, think Grant. Visit grant.ie.
Here at Braden's House to Home Interiors, Moville and Bridgend, we stock recliner and fabric suites, dining tables and chairs, beds and mattresses, curtains and rugs, and don't forget our large flooring department stocking carpet, vinyl and laminate flooring. We can't be beaten on price or quality and give a weekly delivery service to Donegal, Derry and Strabane, not to be matched. So call in today to Braden's House to Home Interiors, Moville or Bridgend for all your home furnishing needs.
If you've been affected by suicide, visit hugg.ie for information and support. Hug, hope and healing after suicide.
Highland Motors Dacia 261 sales event will take place this Thursday the 6th to Saturday the 8th. There's great finance offers from 0%, free service plans, and a €250 voucher for every Dacia customer who places an order during the event weekend. So come along and see the full Dacia range this weekend at Highland Motors, Mountain Top, Letterkenny. T's and C's apply. Finance offers are subject to lending criteria. See dacia.ie.
Paddy Farron is in studio with me now, who is a serial entrepreneur. Paddy, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And we were saying just off air there that you were in before when Sean obviously was sitting in this seat, but we mustn't have had you in for quite some time then.
It's been quite a few years, yes, before. I think the last time I was in on Highland Radio here was the week after Sean left.
Right.
So I don't know how long that is.
What's a serial entrepreneur? I was joking beforehand. I was thinking like serial killers. It sounds like you're not good at it, but you're good at it, right? So what is a serial entrepreneur?
I see that question as something that's been through the troughs quite a bit and learned what has worked and obviously learned what hasn't worked, and then has been able to implement what you actually know at that time to be then effective in what you're actually doing.
You learn, I would imagine, and this is where people become entrepreneurs because they keep going. You would learn a lot from failures as much as you might from success, I would imagine.
It's a terminology that's used quite a bit. I don't go down that road.
Right, okay.
Is that I'm looking at one of my personal biggest pet hates is for somebody to knock themselves. Mm-hmm. Rather than see the good in themselves, rather than glass half full, glass half empty. I just see it as, aren't we grateful to have the glass?
Yeah, I know, there's no doubt about that. And we do, self-deprecate perhaps a little bit too much. You're launching the Donegal Men in Business Network, which is really interesting, actually. I think this is a great thing because I've watched on the Women in Business Network and the various women's group and how successful they've been and how they've brought, big businesses, medium-sized businesses, single-person businesses to the fore and all the networking and the series of events. And I have often wondered, where is the Donegal Men in Business Network? So was there an obvious gap there?
Totally. I think we're on the same... We're on the same hymn sheet there when we look at it. Some of the female entrepreneurs in Donegal have been amazing. Some of the groups they've done have been amazing. But when you go looking to see where are the men, because men confide in men more, just like females confide in females, it's been able to have that ability to able to say what you want to say in an environment that you trust.
Yeah. And it's also it's also about, is it not, and maybe networking falls under this umbrella, but it's also about being able to bounce ideas off people. Maybe if you are in business, you can always learn, can't you? Or if you're thinking of starting a business, you can sort of get information or support.
Totally. And there's so many great avenues for that in Donegal as well. But I think from my perspective and where I've been in the last 7 years, we're small thinking. We don't think big enough. Like when we look back at, I based everything that I'm doing now on this book. This book is called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with it.
No, I'm not a great reader. I'm not going to lie to you, Pat.
Well, this book, you can listen to it on YouTube. I would advise anybody that's listening, whether they're in business or just family life, look it up on YouTube and listen to it. It's the most fantastic book which can be used for business. And I've actually built everything that I've done based on that book.
I'm not trying to sort of pitch the two sexes against each other, right? But do men not have particular weaknesses, but are there things that, you know, we need to work on in terms of maybe if a business isn't as successful as we might want it to be, not going at it again? Or, as I say, we can't generalize, but is there particular things in the male population that you think can be addressed as part of this network?
Totally.
So talk to me through those then.
It's suppression.
Yeah.
The biggest part of a failure of saying, okay, I did this and it didn't work out, and then we give up. Whereas if it's not good yet, God's not done. So it's a matter of saying, okay, what have I learned from that, and how can I now implement what I've learned from that rather than giving up? You'll see any of the top entrepreneurs, and I'm mentored by, it's curious, just funny that the last piece you mentioned was around a nutrition bar. I'm mentored by Tom Bellew, which he sold his company for over $1 billion.
Wow.
And his company is Quest. And what he did with Quest was, what problem are you solving? Not to say I've got another bar out there, because there's thousands of different bars. What problem are you solving? So when we think from a business perspective of, there's nobody that hasn't got an idea. And because everything that we do as human beings, we like to be around other people. Where I've got caught in a trap for me personally as well is I've become kind of a entrepreneur that works at home. I live in Ballyliffin. I work with clients all over the world.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of being open and receptive to meeting and greeting other people to share those ideas.
But you also need a space, an umbrella organisation to facilitate that, right? So what's your vision of the Donegal Men in Business Network?
The vision is that I can see us creating $1 billion companies, euro, whatever currency we're using, in a network of people encouraging one another. Rather than saying, like, okay, I've tried it, it's failed. Okay, what have you learned from that failure, and how can you implement something new into that now? Because in a network, everybody needs everybody else. I need you because you're here giving to speak to other people in a community that I want to be in. I need you for that. When we leverage what other people have, then the avenue and the cake becomes so much bigger to eat.
I don't know if it's exclusively male, and I'm sure it's not, but I find it very easy to be devalued by other people. Do you know what I'm on about? Like, and there are people who are very good at making you feel insignificant.
And I love that question.
And that in itself is their skill, because often it's to elevate themselves, right? But I think, and I would have thought I'd have decent resilience, but in life, it's astonishing sort of how, you know, you can allow yourself to be devalued or feel insignificant at the hands of somebody else.
And I love your question because I think you're answering it yourself.
Talk to me a bit more about that.
Because it's your perception. So the biggest waste of time for me is giving attention to what other people think.
Yeah.
Because it's irrelevant. The greatest battle that we have while we're on this planet Earth, in my opinion, is the battle that we have with ourselves.
The internal battle.
100%.
Being in yourself.
Being in yourself, and what space are you giving that? Like, I wrote a quote this morning before I come in. I just take time and space to myself. In my mind, if my mind is talking, I ain't listening.
So in terms of this business network, you've talked about, you know, the ambition of it. But does that mean then that someone who has a business idea about becoming a service provider, a sole trader, or starting on, you know, that maybe is not, with the best will in the world, looking to scale to that size, that they wouldn't fit into this network?
And that, again, it's an excellent question, Greg, as well, because you're answering a lot of what I want to get out there. And it's because this network is open to anyone. So because so many people would sit in the back of the room and their ideas, they're afraid to share their ideas because they think it's not big enough. Everybody, no matter what business they're in, had to start somewhere. And it's to give the people that have an idea, whether that's our kids or an entrepreneur that is not happy in employment in some job that they don't want. I was at the dentist yesterday, and there's a lady in there, and she was working in another dentist for 43 years. And I had to laugh because I couldn't speak while I was in the dentist chair. And the woman had said she went home after her first day work, and her husband said to her, "I am so delighted to have my wife back."
Mm-hmm.
After 43 years, she was working in an environment that she didn't like or love. You've got to love what you do.
Is that because that person's not putting themselves first? Then they're not they're not sort of trying to satisfy, maybe their ambitions or their wants. That there's some sort of a brand loyalty or something. What's going on there? Why is...
I think we get caught in paradigms. We get caught in habits of routine. For me personally, I was an unconscious aware alcoholic. I got into a routine that I needed drink.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime that I needed to drink, I had to get drunk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a drink in 7 years. I lifted a book one day and I said, I'm a non-drinker. And I haven't drank since.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need any network or any group for that. I just made the decision.
The one pattern, like we did a feature recent with the DLDC, and I interview a lot of people in business here, and it's astonishing to the amazing ideas. Speaking to a lady who has an eight-seater based in Ardrockily Bags, but has an 8-seater Volkswagen, and has set up a company where she does, very hands-on tours. You know what I mean, of people that come and all that kind of stuff. And another lady who had this vision about yoga with children and yoga amongst adults and all that kind of stuff. But what was amazing with those people, and it was primarily women, they made a decision. I don't think I'm actually potentially getting there now, but to give up a salary potentially, to back themselves, to say, this is my plan, I can make it work, right? And I don't know if women are better than that than men, or it just happens who I be speaking to. But it's this courage to take a chance or a risk, or they don't feel it to be a risk. And I think a lot of us have ideas or ambitions, but we can't take that risk. If that makes sense.
And that's a balance. That's a balance. It's
obviously a calculated risk, but even a calculated risk I would struggle with. Does that make sense?
Totally. And it's saying you can't just drop everything and have nothing. That just doesn't make sense. Okay. So it's a matter of what can I drop? Like my day starts at 4 a.m. every day.
You're one of them.
I am, and my wife would say to me, "Paddy, you're up early," and it's just routine at this stage, because I know if I'm up at 4 a.m. I'm 3 hours ahead of most people.
Well, come 8 or 9 a.m. You have your day's work done theoretically.
It's not so much that.
I know you work beyond that, but I mean that's a lot of productivity while I'm in bed.
Again, that's a perception. Is it that I'm in work? I don't work. I have a pastime that I thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah, but you're running a company.
Totally, loads of companies.
Yeah.
But it's I enjoy that so much that I'm doing what I love.
Yeah.
Like what I can do with AI, and I'll show next week at the event when we're launch on Tuesday night in the Radisson at 7 p.m. What I can do as a non-coder with AI now will blow your mind.
Yeah.
It usually would take me 6 to 8 months to do that. I can do that now in 6 to 7 hours.
Yeah, it's astonishing. And I think AI is a very interesting thing to bring into the conversation, because if you embrace it rather than see it as a threat, it can potentially free up so much more. Look at the amount of time AI is freeing up for you, for example, that you can do with something else. You can apply yourself in a different way.
I totally, Greg, see it as the biggest game changer in my lifetime. Because when the internet came along, everybody said there'd be no jobs. Without doubt, the internet is the biggest employer in the world.
Yeah, true.
So when we look at it it's a matter of looking at everything from a perspective of how you're looking at it and how you're seeing it. AI is going to create more jobs. Sometimes I ring up an odd company and I would ask them, what are they doing? And it's very hard to get through. Oh, we're very busy. There lies the opportunity. What are you actually busy doing? If I walked into a company now and I said to them, could I review your company for a week? And the first thing I'll ask them is, show me your calendar and show me the amount of hours you have for thinking.
Yeah.
Most companies don't have any time for thinking. One of the greatest advocates for thinking in this county is Jim McGuinness. You can listen. I listen to people's subconscious talk. I don't listen to their voice. You listen to Jim McGuinness when he's speaking, and his players, their subconscious has been drilled into them, their belief that they are the best. I think their goal last year was to get to the All-Ireland final. I was listening to the players' subconscious. Their minds were saying that they were getting to the final. I never heard any of the players in the interview saying that they had won the All-Ireland.
No, it's interesting actually, because I think especially sort of at the highest level of sport, it's about, the percentages, isn't it? It's about maybe the 0.5% or what have you. And I don't want to fall out with any players or management.
No, me either. Sorry, Jim.
But having was in Croke Park, there was a sense that the job was done, and this was almost like the Charity Shield, if you know what I mean.
And that's all I'm basing it on.
The Premiership had been won, and now we're having
to get to the final.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you could deny that, but you're talking about it, the subconscious. So you can't necessarily deny what your subconscious.
And I think he's become the leader of that and thinking process in our area. In that, Jim McGuinness has got first principle thinking. They're his ideas.
Right, listen, I don't have enough time to delve into everything that I would like to. Talk to me about the event, who's invited, what really in the first instance it is.
So it's next Tuesday night in the Radisson, 7 p.m. in the Radisson. I've just come from the Radisson there to get the room. I'm an impulse taker, I'm an action taker. Anybody that feels they want to come to the event, come to the event. I'm working behind the scenes, and I was told yesterday it's impossible to get Jim McGuinness. So Jim McGuinness, if you're listening, reach out to me. My number is there. I'm happy to speak to you. I'd be delighted if you'd come and launch the event. It's more for the businesses and the people, Greg, that behind the scenes when it's a Monday morning and there's a bill needs paying and they have nobody to support them. It's not about the success stories so much. It's about the businesses that are small, that are suffering behind the scenes, and they just need a voice that's saying, don't panic. This is not the end of the world. It's just a business.
All right, okay. And some of that advice actually extends to private, personal lives, not just business lives either.
Totally.
Okay, Paddy Farron, serial entrepreneur. Thank you so very much indeed. I'll look on with interest to see how this develops.
And if anybody wants to reach out to me, Greg, my number, I'll happily give it out. It's 086 603 3012. You can WhatsApp me. I'm setting up a group there online as well. It's called skool.com /spark, SPARKK. That platform as well. I was on with and mentoring 4 years ago with the owner of that platform. He had 325 people on that platform.
Wow.
Last week, 18 million people use that platform. I was there on the call when he started that platform.
Nice. Okay.
So just reach out to me, any guys, if they're interested.
All right, Paddy, thanks very much indeed.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Easy Living Furniture would like to invite you, our customers, to our annual Family and Friends event this Thursday, the 6th of November. We'll be offering a magical 50% off our full Christmas range, exclusively in store for one day only, including Christmas trees, decorations, baubles, garlands, wreaths, and so much more. Don't miss out on our most enchanting sale of the year. Visit Easy Living Furniture, Crescent Link Retail Park, Derry, this Thursday.
At Eclipse Cinemas, Bundoran and Lifford Strabane, the stars shine brighter. This isn't just a trip to the movies, it's a VIP experience. Sit back in luxury as your favourite pizza,
yummy,
hot food and a cold drink are delivered right to your seat in any studio. But for the ultimate treat, step into the Director's Lounge, our most popular destination. Enjoy the film, enjoy the food and savour the experience. Only at Eclipse Cinemas, Bundoran and Lifford Strabane.
AI isn't just for tech experts, it's for all. With Skills to Advance, turn curiosity into capability through artificial intelligence microqualifications. Upskill your team to use AI responsibly, to work more productively, innovate safely, and boost your business with confidence. Talk to your local education and training board today or visit skillstoadvance.ie. Skills to Advance, supported by Solus and the Government of Ireland.
There's any number of new cars out there, but do the numbers add up? With the stylish Peugeot 2008, Fastback 3008 and spacious 5008 electric and hybrid range, they really do. Enjoy a €500 Dunnes Stores gift card, a 5-year unlimited mileage warranty, and for electric cars we'll add a free 3-year service plan and a home charger. Order your 261 Peugeot today at McGinley Motors, your main Peugeot dealer in County Donegal.
Offer ends December 31st. Terms and conditions apply.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Discover Christmas gift ideas for everyone on your list, from trending beauty to memorable Secret Santa gifts. Visit us in Ballybuffet to explore our extensive range of gifts or shop online at mcelhenneys.com today.
So, dull and damp, although that's the morning. Let's move to the afternoon because that rain's going to gradually clear the region this afternoon. It'll be drier for the rest of the today with just patches of light rain or drizzle. There'll be some mist and fog too. Highest temperatures of 13 to 15 degrees. And it is actually, looking out the window here at the mountaintop in Letterkenny, it is quite misty. Now, we're on the road tomorrow. We're broadcasting the 9 till noon show live from the Donegal Giving event in Green on Theatre tomorrow, the 6th of November. As you know, with the show, when we're out and about, we'll do all the usual stuff, but obviously also tap into what's going on in the event. It's going to be an incredible one, packed with inspiring speakers, local heroes, community stories, and so much good energy as they officially launch Donegal Giving. So there'll be gifts for everyone going, fabulous food from Yes Chef Catering, plenty of chances to connect, and a true Donegal spirit of giving in the air. If you're interested and you're free tomorrow, registration opens at 9:30 a.m. The event starts at 10 a.m. at Green on Theatre in Letterkenny. As I say, we're there from 9 until 12. So we'll tap into some of the guests that they have lined up already. So looking forward to that. As usual, you'll be able to listen to the show on the radio and you'll be able to watch it as well. A caller says the more technology that comes out, the more difficult it is to talk to a human in any business. And as for public services, don't get me started. The funny thing about AI and how it's going to be employed into the future, I use AI quite a lot. I would use it multiple times in the day, not to actually, just for information, to bounce ideas, not necessarily actually to use it as a Google in inverted commas. I use it all of the time. The advances are so rapid, to be honest with you. I think the customer experience is going to improve because you will interact with AI, which will, to all intents and purposes, deal with you as a human might. So now, when you ring someone up, you can't speak to a human. It's one this, two that, three the other. I don't think we're that far away where you ring up a organisation and you interact with the AI and you wouldn't necessarily know it's AI. And they will be able to give you a far more tailored and personal interaction over the phone. And that's the way it's going to be with businesses, strangely. So AI is going to be the solution to the pain in the backside that dealing with companies is. You know, this press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's only a matter of time now before companies start putting that into position. And I don't mean like big tech companies like you're ringing Amazon. Your local hairdresser, it's not that far away, right? Where they will recognize you. They will know what you get done regularly. They'll be able to have access to the appointment book and be able to book you in, schedule in, and treat you like an actual person. And I'm only picking that business as one where you would be ordinarily dealing with a human. As I say, whether it's a year, 2 years, certainly within 5 years, this is how people will be engaging with AI in every single day life, to some point whereby you won't actually know that you've just got off the phone from an AI assistant. A caller says you can have many great ideas, but trying to get the money to start up without someone taking your idea. Yeah. But I mean, obviously there's great supports there, like from the DLDC, local enterprise office and what have you. I mean, they're not in the business of nicking ideas. So you can get supports and tease things out. I don't know. I think if you were going into creating a business like that, I think you might struggle then to sort of engage with people and grow the business. I think you might have to put the guard down a little bit. Councillor Liam Blaney's suggestion for the new bridge is delusional. Does he not care about the traffic heading to the likes of Falcarra and Gweedore through Letterkenny, not forgetting quicker access to hospital for emergency services? He has a bridge in Fanad. Okay, it's just one opinion though. The biggest fear with eating deer is knowing whether it's been treated for TB or tested for TB, but anything that enters the food chain goes through those vigorous testing, by the way. I'd presume that's really quite clear. In Australia, we have the same issue with kangaroos, and it's one of the best, leanest meats you can eat, but people are reluctant to eat it. It's just a psychological thing. I think we'd be all right eating deer if it was marketed to us in a certain way. I don't like the taste of deer, and I've tried it a few different ways, but anyway. Let me see. Gambling. Hi, Greg. Have you ever done a Lotto Quick Pick on the Lotto app? Yeah, I did. I had to generate the Quick Pick random choice 11 times to get 6 numbers that didn't contain sequential numbers. I know they will statistically all numbers are equal in terms of chance, but one of the lines had 6 numbers, 5, 6, 7, 8, 23, 24. I think they have an algorithm set on the app to reduce your chances of ever winning. I don't know how that works. I do know it's kind of interesting that just looking at the numbers that they threw up for you, and those numbers I think could win, is that people often use dates and birthdays and stuff. And how many numbers are there in the Lotto? 40 odd or something like that there. But obviously the calendar goes up to 31. So I see lots of people. I don't see lots of people. I have seen people over time focusing on dates, birth dates and all that kind of stuff, but instantly eliminating any numbers over 31. But I don't know if that actually shortens your chances of winning. What about radio gambling? News Talk offer hundreds of thousands. I don't know what that cash call thing is. Is it gambling? I don't know. I've never engaged with it. I don't listen much, so I don't know. But open to the conversation. Right, that's where we leave it on the show today. Thank you so much for listening, for contributing, for getting involved, for watching. We really appreciate each and every one of you. But that's where we leave it for